Ladies and gentlemen, we're finally here. Right. I ain't gonna lie to you, I almost didn't make it. Almost ain't make it. But that's why we spent so much time doing that. Spending all that time to get that stuff together. Having two systems up and running in case one of them goes down. Jesus Christ! I'm trying to tell you. What mic do I have? What is this thing called? I don't remember. Hold on. I got you. Hold on, I got you. Let me get you the exact name, because no, was it an R30? I don't think that's what it was. Let me see. Hold on. I need see making me go into my purchase history here while I try to remind myself. Hold on. And oh yeah, that's right, because I also was doing a lot of like digital cleaning here, and all my cookies are gone. So now I have to sit here and re-sign in. And just like that, I'm already re-signed in. Awesome. All right, here we go. I can pull it up. 320 RE320. This baby here. My most favorite of robot penises here. This R320. Okay, photo, you can stop now. All right, let me close this. All right. Figure out what we doing today. What we doing today? And why is this? Hold on. Why is this not? If only my mouse would love me. There we go. Okay. I forgot this double control click thing is so convenient, especially when you're going through like 3 different screens. Oh, you just tried the share mic? I'm sure you have it. I'm sure your Shure mic is probably properly set up with a proper, like, a nicer interface and all the other stuff. These things are all slapped together and highly unoptimized. So we'll see. Let's see. And okay, we are just about good to go. I just need a tab here. Come on, tab. Come on. I need a new mouse. I need a new mouse and keyboard setup now. That's now what I need to start working my way towards. But okay. There's a short freeze there. EQ. Did I ever throw EQ on my microphone? Let me see. Filters. I have a 3-band equalizer. I did put on a 3-band equalizer on here. 8 dBs of high, -6 dBs of mid, and 2 dBs of low. I don't know if that was pretty optimum and good, but that's what's there. Okay. Oh man. All right. So, what are we doing today? Well, today, all right, we're going to take a quick look at some news real quick just to see if there's any in particular headlines so I can see what's going on. And then I'm actually going to start trying to get this this AI thing this AI idea I had in my mind up and going. I was testing it before coming up on the stream, and so, like, in theory it works, but just so we're clear, okay, all my streaming stuff I test before going live, and as you all saw these past month, right, it's not until I go live where the thing that I was testing that was working perfectly fine then decides not to work. So we'll see how it goes. But if it works, it'll be so good. It'll be such a cool idea I had in my mind. So we'll see. We will see. So first things first, let's go ahead now and let's swap on to this next section here. Okay. Everything looks okay. right? Right, everything looks okay. Everything looks okay. I'm just looking at my vertical here. There we go. I don't know why my vertical stream was looking a little strange there. Let me crank up the fan, like so. And right. Let's news guys. What is happening on this world? This shouldn't take us more than like 10 minutes. We need to see what's going on here. Let's see. So first up, let's see. Israel staged heavy airstrikes in Lebanon as Hezbollah launches drone attack on Israel. Oh yeah, I can actually take this off. All right. I do remember that Israel and Hezbollah were going at it recently. Let's see. Israel launched a series of intense airstrikes in southern Lebanon earlier Sunday, and what it said was a preemptive strike against the Hezbollah military group, threatening to trigger a broader regional war that could torpedo efforts to forge a ceasefire in Gaza. I don't like that this was it was a preemptive. If they was gonna do a preemptive strike, I hope that they had whatever documentations that they needed to have. I hope that that's what they had. Oh yeah. How could I have forgotten? Hold on. See, we're already experiencing streaming shenanigans. YouTube's not receiving enough data to maintain smooth stream. See, already experiencing shenanigans. What do I need to look at here? Well, Twitch looks good and Kick looks good. And I'd have to debate on this another time. I'm just taking a quick look at, and I have plenty of bandwidth, so this is just OBS. Is OBS just creeping out on me? No. Looks like one day, guys. One day we'll have a semi-smooth stream someday. Won't be today, but it will be someday. It will be someday. Okay. Let me try and go like this, right? And yeah, it looks good to me. All right, let's get back to it. So let's see. So, all right. So yeah, so preemptiveness, right? So preemptive strikes are a bit risky, especially while they're in the middle of peace talks. I really hope that they they did their due diligence when it came to actually getting whatever what's it called, whatever justification in order to do preemptive strikes. They better have satellite imagery and all that good stuff. So let's see. So this is just about the stuff we already know. Hezbollah is considered more powerful than Hamas. Yes, because Hezbollah actually has resources versus Hamas. Okay, so this is just literally just about the strike and nothing more. All right, let's be a little bit more selective on articles now. German police arrest suspect in Stammer rampage. I do remember reading about that. All right, you'd be amazed at if it's not scuffed, is it even a stream? Exactly, right. If we're not struggle streaming, then we're not doing this right at all. In fact, let me get my chat thing too. The one thing I still need to figure out is my chat window thing, which now that I think about it, I don't have to run it on the computer stream. I could run it on this and put the window, but then how do I make it force overlay? Ignore me. I'm just brainstorming. This will be something I'll figure out another time as far as a decent chat overlay for me to actively look at on the screen I'm looking at, where I don't have to just look to the side, because that was the one thing I liked about Restream. I had a cool little overlay thing that I could force up above everything, so I could just, while I'm getting into something, I don't even have to remind myself to look at chats, right? It's just right there. But yeah, let's see. But outside of the US, a lot of places, right, they be having some serious knife attacks. They be having some Restream is cool in that. Yes, it is. They be having some serious knife attacks, and it's just because they don't have guns. So which which, yeah, I guess you can argue maybe better, maybe it's not, but at least, at least gun violence is a thing that you don't have to worry about in these places like Japan, Germany. I don't think Great Britain doesn't. Yeah, Great Britain, all those places. Let's see. Tropical storm Hone steadily approaches Hawaii. Okay, cool. So there's a hurricane-ish going over there. Let's see. Mpox. Oh, is everybody tracking the Mpox stuff? The Mpox stuff is like interesting. It's not as contagious as like COVID or anything like that, but the strand is like more contagious than the typical one. So it'll be interesting to see like if any cases start hitting the US. I'm waiting for, because I can't wait for people be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna take precautions, it's all fake and stuff, and then they get the Mpox, and then yeah, it is what it is. This one's behind a paywall. Do I need to? Nah. I think I have credentials to get the log into. I just don't feel like trying to fish those out right now. All right, let's see. Ukraine. So it doesn't look like there's anything like in particular going on in the world today, right? We know RFK. So RFK, like the rumors were saying, like for a week now, or like, and interestingly enough, PBD podcasts, right? They were saying that this is what they wanted too, with RFK dropping out and supporting Trump. I don't know like how much that actually translates to real world gains for Trump, like at maybe 1%, maybe 2%, but I seriously doubt it. I mean, if you was voting for RFK when you could have voted for Trump or Biden, you was doing that for a reason. That RFK is like endorsing Trump. I don't know why you would change your vote if you could have just voted for Trump anyway, unless you was just gonna argue that he was slightly better. So now you're gonna do like lesser of the two, that kind of stuff, right? Like the whole thing between like Hillary and Trump back in 2016. So let's see. Knife attacks leave 3 dead. That's oh yeah, and then we're finally bringing those stranded astronauts back. Shout out to Elon Musk's SpaceX capsule that they're going to use. Boeing had their chance. I think it was Boeing, right? Yeah, Boeing. Boeing had their chance. They really dropped the ball. So it's unfortunate. Space is complicated, and they make some. Well, I would have said they make some really good aircrafts, minus like the debacles they had with the with the maintenance issues. But I guess space is a whole different frontier for sure. Let's see. Opening night. Fact checking. How accurate was the 2024 DNC speech? Okay, yeah, there really isn't much really to talk about going on currently in the world. Let me see for me, right? Curated to what I want. Drake appears to address former collaborators who turned on him a new song. Oh, man. We'll look at that later. Why is this Chinese video game causing such a stir? Negative discourse. Black myth. Hold on. Wukong streamers asked not to mention feminist propaganda and COVID. Okay. I guess it's just... Okay. Sure. Adapt to touch quietly. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There just really isn't much going on today. Well, I mean, it is a Saturday, so I guess. Sensors can read your sweat and predict overheating. Here's why privacy advocates care. AI rental. Oh, this one. Now, this one's actually a good one. All right, this is the last one we're going to look at now, and then we're going to actually jump straight to... we're going to attempt our AI, the buffoonery here. But, guys, let me tell y'all something, right? I knew something was, like, a bit shady, because I wasn't arguing with somebody, but, like, I remember this having, like, a extremely short, by short, I mean, like, one chat message somewhere online about like rental prices, where I believe they were saying that's like, oh, policies or whatever, getting are pushing rental prices up and whatnot. And I was saying that in reality, what it is just that it's not so much as the policies, it's just that for a lot of renters, if there's an eviction moratorium and you're not paying the rent, then like the homeowner, right, the person that actually owns that building that still has to make the mortgage payments or the utilities, whatever, not utilities, but like just whatever, right, they gotta absorb, they're gonna have to absorb the cost somehow. So like if you're especially a business on the business side of that where you got a lot of tenants and you have like a handful that fit go into that category and not being able to pay, then it would make sense that you would potentially raise rent, not by much. Oh yeah. So the argument now, I'm actually remembering now as I was sitting there talking about it, right? They were saying that the stimulus checks that we got, right? Because we only got 3 stimulus checks, right? There was one in like March, or was it March or April? I think it was like April. There was one in December, and then there was like a third one again, I think like around March or April. And like they were saying that it was because of these are the reason why rent went up. And I was like, that's retarded, because like I don't like most any renter that would sit there and any like actual real business renter that would sit there and raise your rent because you got a one-time stimulus check is crazy. And then they're just opening themselves up to potentially lose you, which was stupid. And then they were sitting there saying that, oh, no, we use software, the software thing, to be competitive. And I was like, the real reason why you raise rents is because like more than likely, or those people raise rents is because more than likely they had people that wasn't paying, right? And they had a few of these people, so they raised rents across the board to help like supplement their income, to help cover those things while they were waiting for the moratorium to to stop. And they were like, well, no, this is not actually the case. We was using software in order to be competitive with everybody else. And it's amazing that I had this conversation before this actually hit, right? Where it turns out, kind of like what I was a little bit suspecting, was that what was really going on is that there was just a broader scheme to actually just raise prices as a means of being able to just start getting more money. And it was a collaborative effort between a bunch of people all around, right? Because the thing is that, what's nice about capitalism, right, is that, the best business that offers the best value is the one that wins. What's bad about capitalism is that when you get colluders, like, which is what the allegation in this is, right, then you have this problem where all these companies start working together to be able to all raise prices at the same time, so that way they can all just make a profit. Because if one raises prices and the other one doesn't, then obviously the people are just going to go to that one. So it helps put pressure on keeping prices low, which is good for people, which is good for us. But obviously businesses don't like that. If they can just get extra money on you, that's what they're going to do. And that's what this thing is, right? Basically, the idea is that, there's a software company, right, that provides these services to rental companies, right, that use it in order to know how to set prices and stuff. And then there was this collaboration between them and all the renter people in order to actually be able to come to a consensus on raising prices together, so that way they could all raise the prices at the same time and profit. Right. And that's a no. I forgot what law specifically you violate when you do stuff like that. But it goes to show you, man. See, like, you spend enough time around the internet talking to just random people, like you pick up on certain things. And I was like, bro, there's no way this sounds right. And like, Lord and behold, then the Department of Justice then starts suing these rental people. So that was cool. I'm just taking a quick look at some headlines just to make sure there ain't nothing of interest that pop out to me. Let's see. Abortion rights battle grows in Texas. Jesus, bro. I don't know why Texas just won't let the shit die. Good Lord. One Piece. Oh, season 2 of One Piece is about to drop on Netflix. I haven't finished watching season 1. I need to. Under house arrest. Okay, so Andrew Tate's back under house arrest. How lovely. I think it was like what? I think it was like new charges. I forgot what exactly they are, but it's just like, it's just crazy. Just all crazy stuff. Let's see. Ceasefire talks. Yep. Hurricanes. And okay. Doesn't look like much else is going to go. All right. So now, that being said, let's go ahead now and throw our headphones on here. All right. I'm just very curious if I'm going to even get this to work. We'll see. We will see. Before I do that, let me, we can just close this. All right, let me start by getting my phone. reconnected here. Oh, wow. Samsung Dex just starts right on up. Nice. And that's what I like to see. That is what I like to see. Nice. All right. Let's open up my industry. Okay. Now, how did I get this working again? Let me think about this. It probably would have really helped if I had made sure I signed in on the other phone before I did this. Okay. Let me. Is it going to hate this? It is. I knew it. Is it still working? Oh, and it's still working. Okay. Wow. For an old phone? For an old phone, that's pretty amazing. Okay, hold on. I just gotta I gotta load an app up. I gotta load an app up. And then I need to see, am I already signed? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So it hasn't been long enough to where I'm not signed in. All right. Now let's actually go ahead and let's get started. So what do I need to do? So first thing I need to do is jump here into Discord. Right. Okay. Okay, so my Discord is up. And now let's go ahead and on my other computer here. If this works, this would be awesome because I have some significant plans for this next month. Okay. Okay, where is no, it's around here somewhere. Just bear with me. Oh, here it is right here. Cool. All right, let's join this. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Let me gotta mute here. Okay. So hopefully that works. Wait, hold on. Okay, let me go like this. And then let me go like that. And okay, cool. All right. So boom. All right. So that's what I like to see. Okay. All right. Moment of truth. Let's see if it works. If it works, awesome. If it don't, oh well. Okay. So can I bring you over here? Maybe? No, I don't want to do that because too much information. Okay. And let's go here. So this is going to be with ChatGPT, and this is going to be through Discord with something I've cleverly put together. That is why you can see the the profile icons up, right, where you see me talking. This with the green. We got the green circle around it, right? So let's see how this works. Okay, so now if I go ahead and I do this. Hi, ChatGPT. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. So I wanted to ask if you would be willing to do a quick test with me, if that's all right.
I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Sure, I'm up for a quick test. What do you have in mind?
So the idea is that I want to be able to do a intellectual debate. The debate I kind of had in mind was going to revolve around politics. So just imagine that I was to do something like ask you to take your understanding of something like Santa Claus and actually try to structure an argument on why Christmas is good from Santa Claus perspective. Would that be something you'd be able to do? And again, that's just an example. That's not exactly what I want, but just to give you an idea.
I get what you're aiming for. You want to see if I can construct an argument from a specific perspective, like Santa Claus, to support a particular idea. In this case, why Christmas is good. I can definitely help with that. Do you want to run through a similar example or something else for the actual test?
Hmm. You know what? That is a good point. Okay, so how about this? So let's actually do employ that Santa Claus example into play then. Could you, from the perspective of Santa Claus, actually explain to me why Christmas is such a important concept for children, despite it not actually being real for, a bulk of the adult population?
All right, let's imagine I'm Santa Claus. From my perspective, Christmas is incredibly important for children, even though I'm not real in the literal sense. First, Christmas fosters a sense of wonder and imagination. When children believe in Santa Claus, they tap into the magic of possibility. This imagination is crucial for their development, helping them dream, create, and think beyond the everyday. The excitement they feel when thinking about Santa brings joy and hope, which are powerful emotions that contribute to their overall well being. Second, the concept of Santa Claus teaches children the value of generosity and kindness. The story of Santa emphasizes the importance of giving rather than just receiving. When children think about what Santa might bring them, they also learn about the joy of giving to others, whether it's through exchanging gifts, helping those in need, or simply spreading holiday cheer. This nurtures a spirit of empathy and community. Finally, Christmas and the idea of Santa Claus bring families together. The traditions, whether it's leaving out cookies, writing letters to Santa, or gathering to unwrap gifts, create cherished memories that strengthen family bonds. These moments are often the ones that stick with children as they grow, reminding them of love, warmth, and togetherness. So, from Santa's perspective, even if he's not real, the impact of Christmas on children's imagination, moral development, and family connections is very real and profoundly positive.
I see. So here's my thing when it comes to, presenting fake or fairy tales in that sense to children. Because see, in my mind, while true, these type of values that you're teaching children are definitely important. There's no question about that. But I question the necessity of actually being able to, or needing to really actually presented using a fake persona such as Santa Claus. Is it not possible that you can actually present or teach children like important positive values while actually using real entities or just the values themselves, right? Because I doubt that the values themselves are necessitate a figure like Santa Claus in order for you to actually be able to teach them. Furthermore, my other concern then is that when it comes to then the idea that we are teaching children, these things under the pretense of a fake figure, then is there not any concerns that comes to mind when the children needs to then actually grow up in a sense, right? That Santa Claus is not actually real and we were lying to the children the entire time. But we still want them to believe in the values that we were using Santa Claus to teach them. That be the major concern that I usually have when I hear things like this. But I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe you can persuade me into understanding why such concerns would be kind of trivial in that sense, right? Because since we've been doing this for so long and it doesn't seem like there's been too bad of an impact. But then again, there are like maybe some extreme examples, I'm sure, where these concerns have actually bore out. And so then the question is just, would we just be better off just teaching these values without having to employ a fake figure up front?
You raise valid points, and they highlight important concerns about honesty and the necessity of using fictional characters like Santa Claus to teach values. Let me address your concerns from Santa's perspective and see if we can find some middle ground. First, while it's true that values like generosity, kindness, and family togetherness can be taught without Santa Claus, the character serves as a powerful narrative tool. Stories, myths, and legends have always been a way to communicate complex ideas in a way that's accessible and engaging, especially for children. Santa Claus is a symbol that wraps these values into a magical, relatable package, making them easier for children to understand and embrace. It's not that the values require Santa, but he makes the lesson more memorable and impactful through the power of storytelling. Regarding the concern about honesty, it's important to note that discovering the truth about Santa Claus can actually be a developmental milestone for children. When they eventually learn that Santa isn't real, it's often handled in a way that transitions them to a deeper understanding of the values behind the story. Parents typically explain that Santa is a symbol of the generosity and love that everyone can share, so the focus shifts from the literal belief to the essence of what Santa represents. This process can teach children about critical thinking, understanding metaphors, and the idea that stories can hold deeper truths, even if they aren't factually real. It's true that there are some extreme examples where children might feel betrayed upon learning the truth, but these cases are relatively rare. In most instances, children move past this realization without significant harm, and they retain the values they were taught. The key is how the transition is managed by the parents and the emphasis they place on the underlying messages. So while teaching values without Santa Claus is certainly possible and can be effective, Santa offers a unique blend of magic, imagination, and narrative that makes those values come alive in a special way. It's about finding the right balance and making sure the focus is on the lessons rather than just the figure himself.
I see, and that's actually a pretty good point, especially in the sense of giving a powerful image for children to kind of latch onto in order to teach them these things. Now, my counter argument to that would
I'm
just
glad that
be,
point resonated with you. Using a character like Santa can indeed make the learning process more engaging and memorable for children.
okay, sorry, I didn't mean to trigger the speech there like that. But what I wanted to get to was just that my other question then is we have seen instances where children have, in a sense, acted or matured much quicker than we are typically accustomed to, and to me, this presents us a evidence that maybe that there is a case to be made that we coddle children or baby children a little too much, and which kind of hampens their developmental process and actually kind of slows them down, because if we could, as a example, if we could have children attain intellect to the level of what we would typically see a college student at the age of like 12 or 13, for example, as just like a random example here, then I want to understand, why is it that we don't try to pursue that, which would require certain things like omitting these fake or imaginary things that may not actually be necessary in order to teach children values and help with their development in a much sooner time frame. I'm paused it real quick because I want to know why my system started frizzing out. You see, not a real stream, but without a struggling, I tell you. Hold on, let me just put that down there real quick. I like that. All right, hold on. My system here is acting a little wonky. Let's figure out what we got going here. And okay, yep, that looks good. That looks good. And I guess it must just be some occasional. It's got to be just something occasional. This is what I'm gonna do. Give me 2 minutes. I gotta throw on some heat on some heat on socks while I'm at it anyway. And is my coffee like cooled down enough? Because I have freshly brewed coffee. I know, right? Wasn't it awesome? And see, this is just trying to just structure an argument was about Santa Claus. So now I'm just going to see, and I don't know. Okay, so let's actually talk about it too, right? While my toes are freezing, because I don't have my heat up socks on because I'm very bougie. All right, look, let me tell you guys. Okay, I had this idea. So first off, it took a lot of work because the company, OpenAI, isn't it OpenAI, right? That makes ChatGPT? Yes, right. They have a really ironclad restriction on trying to use the chat GPT voice thing, not on a mobile phone at all. And I mean, I tried so many different ways to like try to get around it, from emulators to like actual like dev environments and whatnot. And I just like, they did their thing. Like they really locked it down to where you are not using that service on anything but a phone. And maybe I'm just like also limited in my approach, right? So I was like, okay, I happen to have old phones, right, that I could just sit there and run ChatGPT off of. At first, I was going to do my iPhone. Turns out my iPhone's too old. Apple is just trash, okay? And my app died. My application died. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Hold on. Come back, Samsung Dex. I need you to come back to me. Okay, but right, so my iPhone was too old. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to use my other phone. Now the problem is my other phone, the camera that you guys see right here, that's on my other phone. So my other phone's working on it. So I needed to be able to not only run the app on there, I needed to have a way to be remotely connected to my phone at the same time. It's an old phone. So like, while like I got to give it to Samsung for putting in some power on these older phones back then, before Apple really was doing anything, right? I'm actually extremely shocked that it's handling the way it is, but it's still an old phone. So it was a concern about, would it be doing too much like we love doing? So I need to be able to remote control my phone from my PC was requirement number one. I needed to be able to do all these things while not screwing with the video that's on a separate application. And you know how finicky phones can get when you're using multiple applications and then one's in the background, or two of them is in the background, right? So that was the second one. And then the third one was I needed to be able to then also actively use the ChatGPT app. So that was that. And then the last one, right? Because I didn't want to have like some cheesy speaker camera thing, right? Which also would have been like really complicated to do with my current setup. The last thing I needed to do was I needed to find a way to feed the audio to my PC. Luckily, this phone has an audio jack, right? So I was like, oh, okay, you know, I can just simply, and of course I tried some other things, you know, with I forgot what the V-band or whatever those applications are on like wirelessly streaming audio and stuff. The problem, my necessity was I needed speaker sound from the phone to be recognized as microphone sound to the PC, right? Which was a lot more complicated than I initially thought it was going to be, from a software perspective, because a lot of times, like a lot of software I was using was sound to speaker, or, you know, audio output, microphone to microphone, and I needed microphone to speaker, or no, speaker to microphone, excuse me. So phone speaker to computer microphone was what I needed, and it was such a pain. And then so like, luckily this phone in particular still has those millimeter jacks, 3.5s. So I was like, okay, I happen to have one that was just long enough, literally just long enough to go from my phone, from where I normally keep it at, to my PC, where I could just put it in the microphone jack, and boom, there we go, right? So, and then of course, you know, because I do a dual system setup, right? That was the next cool thing I was able to do, because see, I can have this Discord call where I am like actually talking to it in one application, or excuse me, in one Discord instance on my streaming PC, right? Where this is all going into the Discord call, and then it funnels into the Discord application on the other PC, right? Where the ChatGPT microphone is actually in, to be able to like actually pass the stuff back and forth, which was pretty cool. I think it was a phenomenal idea. I like it. I think it was pretty cool. So that's more or less my setup, or at least how I envisioned it. And with that being said, give me like literally 1 minute. I'm just going to I need to swap I just need to swap something real quick, and I need my socks. I'm dying. I am dying. So we'll be right back. Literally, I just need like 2 minutes. All right, hold on.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
All right, I'm back. Hopefully it's not too bad. Let's get a quick sanity check here. See, this is why sanity checks are important. I see some struggles, and I don't know why. I didn't change anything. I just literally just jumped between two scenes. Why are we struggling all of a sudden? Bro, this is what I'm talking about. Like my stability is unheard of. It truly is. Do I just need to give it? I just need to give it some time to just catch up. I guess I just need to give it some time to catch up real quick. Which is just wild. This is wild. I don't know why it's struggling. Why are we struggling? YouTube is not receiving. Okay. Why? I did nothing but just change scenes and I'm back. I changed scenes and I'm back. Is it? I mean, this looks good. Is there anything I can possibly do here? I guess I could like maybe. Hold on, guys. I need to figure out why my life is riddled with such challenges and complexity and just trying to live here. Oh my gosh! Come on, come on. I'm just taking a quick look to see if there's anything I could just that just stands out to me. It's just like being a pain. I guess maybe that we can drop. We might just have to just drop the thing here. Right. So if I just cut it off like that, let's see what that does. Right. So that hopefully frees it up a little bit. It's okay. That's well, I thought it was recovering. Come on. Okay. So I'm at a loss here because nothing changed. Like literally nothing changed. I changed nothing. It was working so fine. This is what I'm talking about. I just move scenes. I literally do nothing but move scenes, and it acts like I just did it for the change. OBS is disconnected. There's no reconnecting. Well, all of that's going. It said reconnect successfully. I feel like if anything, I feel like there was probably like some runaway, what's the word I'm looking for? Like some runaway process or something. It's gotta be what it was. It's gotta be what it was, right? How are you? Are you still up? Let me refresh. No. No, just still not looking all right. Okay, what happened? All I did is like I can't even take a break. If I take a break, it'll die on me. This is you can't make this up. You really cannot make this up. Bro. What happened? Okay, this looks good. Why is Twitch acting like it's oh. Okay, I guess I just need to restart Twitch, right? Do I need to restart Kick? I probably just need to restart the Kick one too. Yep. Okay. All right, fine. Let me stop it. Stop it. Okay, so they're both stopping and I gotta wait. I'm gonna have to wait. Now they're just in forever loops. See, this is why hopefully Ultrium, I can't wait for Ultrium to get their life together here. You guys bear me a moment while I'm sitting here. Okay, so now start you back. Failed to connect the stream. Let's start again. Failed to connect the stream. Okay, well, Kiko's able to come right back up. What about you, Twitch? Failed to connect the stream. What's up with Twitch? Why is Twitch acting like that? You see this? What do you mean? I'm so lost. How are you? What are you recognizing that? Okay, I was about to say there's no way. I was about to say like there's no way it's saying that I'm alive when I'm not. Okay, I guess I just had to wait for the service to just realize that I'm not streaming to it. So is this also just like a platform bug as well? Did I just like stumble upon like a new type of bug? 0 day across all platforms? Is that what happened? There we go. We're looking good now. We're back. We're back. And if I look at yeah, it looks like okay, yeah. So Twitch is, oh yeah, they're all back. They're all back together now. Okay. Okay. I think. Right? 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 Am I right about that? Can I move this over? Hold on. I need one of these to like to move. Edit mode. I can't move this? I would love to be able to move this. It's not gonna let me move it, is it? It's not gonna let me be able to move it, is it? No, it's not. That's just gonna be there. Okay. Move over here real quick. Can I? Nope. Definitely would have made my life a little easier, but I guess not. So I guess we just do that, and I guess we just put it back then. Yep, I guess we I guess we just put it back then, because this ish ain't working. Okay. Yep. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So let's go back there. It just needed. I guess it just needed to restart. All I'm gonna do now is just try to put a few things back on, and we'll see if it crashes. One moment. We are just starting back up two things. The fact that what is it, that did that twice. Oh no, it's just news report of Israel dropping a bunch of strikes on Lebanon. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, so I need now. Okay, so I guess we'll start with this, throwing this back on. I'm sure it'll start spazzing out soon. Let's wait and see. Okay, it looks like okay. It came back up with no issue. Why is that so small? Wait, why is that so small? There's no way. Did it really make it that small? Why? That's crazy. Okay, so this is, I'm testing this 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't know why this text became small as it did, but yeah, I want it like right here. Let's do that. Yeah, I don't know why that like that, but yeah, let's just do something like this. Right? Yep, that looks good. That looks good. And go like that. And okay. Yeah. That'll work. That'll work. Okay. Now one more. All right. So that's up and there's been no change. Now we just have one more thing to just put back on, and hopefully there's no issues here. So let me see. Really? Do I really have to? All right, fine. Hold on. I gotta bring this down in order for me to see it. It's this here. Open this back up now. Bring you back up. I'm monitoring my system here. I just gotta, last thing now is just to bring the stream avatars back up, and that should be it. After that, I'll wrap up my conversation regarding Santa Claus, and then we'll actually then like dive into some politics with it, see what it can do for me. Is it up yet? Is it up yet? It is. All right, let's reconnect it, and let's see what we got here. So we know, right? On my laptop, on my graphics card, my 3D is hovering at around 80%, 80 to 85%. Copy is around 40%. My video encode, which was at 80 to 95%, is now, for whatever reason, down to about 60%. In my mind, it stabilized suspiciously. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that's just how it is. My video decode is at 50%, and my graphics dedicated GPU is nearly capped out at 3.9 out of 4. 3.9 out of 4 gigs. Amazing. Just amazing. All right, let's get back to it now. So okay. I guess when you live that close to the edge, just any sudden change and it'll just botch the whole thing. So anyway, so now that we got that back, let's go ahead and get us back into our conversation on Santa Claus here as we wrap this up. All right, Chat GPT. So back to our conversation regarding Santa Claus. I'm sorry, I was having some technical issues. Haven't we seen cases where children have been able to grow up much faster than we've typically expected? We've seen instances of children before the age of 18 going to college and even graduating with their degrees. We've seen cases where children break well, not necessarily records, but they design like new products and things like that that actually have saving applications. Like I recall one child that designed a new type of switch for solar panels, so that way when a firefighter is trying to get to a house that's on fire, they actually have a safe way of disabling the solar panels from generating electricity. Because if you'd imagine, right, you can cut the electricity off to a house, but you can't necessarily stop a solar panel in during a daylight from generating electricity, which could be hazardous. And it's just examples like these that I point to. That wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that we are actually holding our children back, and that we're not allowing an environment or a educational space to actually bring them up to speed regarding adult level concepts and
You bring up some
topics?
compelling examples that highlight the incredible potential children have when they're encouraged to think critically and creatively from a young age. The accomplishments of young prodigies in various fields indeed suggest that children are capable of grasping complex concepts and making significant contributions to society, sometimes well beyond what we traditionally expect. From the perspective of Santa Claus, I'd acknowledge that while the magic and wonder of Christmas stories like mine can be enchanting, there's also merit in fostering an environment where children are challenged and encouraged to reach their full intellectual and creative potential. The achievements of those young inventors and scholars you mentioned show that when children are given real-world problems to solve and the tools to address them, they can excel in remarkable ways. However, I would argue that the stories and myths, like the one about me, don't necessarily hold children back, but rather serve as one part of a balanced upbringing. While it's crucial to challenge children and expose them to real-world issues and opportunities, it's also important to nurture their emotional and imaginative development. The fantasy of Santa Claus can coexist with the encouragement of critical thinking and real-world problem solving. It's all about balance, using stories to teach values and inspire creativity while also promoting real-world skills and knowledge. Ultimately, children benefit from both approaches. They need the freedom to dream and imagine, as well as the opportunity to engage with reality in meaningful ways. By combining the magic of stories with real-world learning, we can help children develop into well-rounded individuals who are not only capable, but also compassionate, creative, and wise.
All right, you bring up some really good points. And so with that being said, that kind of concludes our test. I thank you so much, ChatGPT, for this wonderful kind of example of debating that you was able to show me. So I'm actually ready now to begin setting the stage for a future type of debate, if you'd be willing to hear me out.
I'm glad the test went well and that you found it helpful. I'm definitely interested in hearing more about the debate you want to set up.
So I'm interested in going towards a political style debate. And so before I get into the details of it, I wanted to explore a little bit further your capabilities. For example, we have like prominent political figures online, political streaming figures online. You have people like Tim Pool or the PBD podcast or Destiny, Charlie Kirk. These individuals, are you familiar with any of them?
Yes, I'm familiar with those figures. Tim Pool is known for his political commentary and news analysis, often covering topics with a more independent or right-leaning perspective. The PBD podcast, hosted by Patrick Bet-David, dives into discussions on business, politics, and culture, often featuring a variety of guests with differing views. Destiny, Stephen Bunnell, is a political streamer and debater who often engages with a wide range of political ideologies, usually from a more left-leaning stance. Charlie Kirk is a conservative political activist and commentator, known for founding Turning Point USA and advocating for conservative principles, particularly among young people. I can certainly help craft a debate scenario that involves perspectives similar to those of these figures. What's the specific direction you'd like to take with this political debate?
So the idea I had in mind was I wanted you to absorb, well, for lack of a better word, kind of the persona or the personality of these individuals. Whether I go for the right-leaning side of the debate or the left-leaning side of the debate, and I want you to debate a particular topic in a manner or perspective in which we could expect them to actually go about it. So, for example, like Tim Pool being right leaning, right? If I was to debate or have a topic on should presidents be criminally prosecuted for, military actions taken overseas, right? I would expect that you would be able to craft arguments in a way similar to some of the perspectives that he may have. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I can definitely take on the persona or perspective of those figures, depending on which side of the debate you want to explore. Just let me know which topic you have in mind and which perspective you'd like to see, and we can get started.
Okay, thank you, ChatGPT. One further question I have before we really start getting into that is I wanted to know, from your recommendation,
Sure, go
would
ahead.
it be
What would you like to know?
would it be easier? Would it be easier for you to be able to assume for lack of a better word, let's say impersonate one or multiple people from the same political side? Are you capable of impersonating multiple people that represent different sides of the arguments? Would it be more easier, I guess? Would it just be easier if we just have you just impersonate one person? What do you think how we should go about approaching this?
Impersonating multiple people from different sides can definitely provide a richer and more nuanced debate. It allows for a broader range of perspectives and arguments. However, if you prefer a more focused approach, I can also adopt just one persona to keep things more streamlined and consistent. It depends on how complex you want the debate to be and whether you want to explore various viewpoints simultaneously or focus on a single perspective. What do you think would work best for your debate setup?
Okay. While like the one side of me is like I would definitely want to be able to explore multiple sides all in one go. I'm not sure if like admittedly I am skillful enough or intellectual enough to be able to handle this in the way that I really would want to. So for the time being, I think we'll start off small and then we'll just build ourselves up as I am getting more familiar with doing this form of debating, while also kind of enriching myself intellectually on being able to actually speak in a more clearer voice here.
That sounds like a solid plan. Starting with one perspective will help you get comfortable with the format and build your skills. As you gain confidence and experience, you can gradually introduce more viewpoints into your debates. If you need any help setting up or framing the debate, just let me know.
Thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, so to start, let's actually just start by building the persona I want you to impersonate. So I'm looking for something on the right side of the political spectrum. So we would be talking like Tim Pool, PBD podcasts. And what I want you to be able to do is with the topic that I come up with later on, I want you to have a debate from their perspectives. Is that okay?
Absolutely, that sounds good. I'll adopt a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts for our debate. Just let me know the topic when you're ready, and we'll dive into it from that viewpoint.
Okay. So with that being said, then let's go ahead and we'll just start off with the biggest one there is, which would be: would Donald Trump make a good president if we was to allow him to be elected for a second term? That'll be the topic we discuss. and I'll allow you to kind of start that off.
All right. Adopting a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, let's dive into the debate on whether Donald Trump would make a good president if elected for a second term. From this perspective, the argument in favor of Trump might highlight several key points. First, Trump supporters often emphasize his track record on economic growth and job creation during his first term. They argue that his policies, such as tax cuts and deregulation, helped stimulate the economy and create jobs. They believe that bringing back his economic agenda could lead to further prosperity and a stronger economic recovery. Second, they might point to his approach on foreign policy, particularly his efforts to negotiate better trade deals and strengthen the U.S. position globally. For example, renegotiating NAFTA to the USMCA was seen as a win for American workers. His supporters may argue that his strong stance on China and other global issues was effective in advancing U.S. interests. Additionally, there's often a focus on his stance on immigration and national security. Supporters might argue that his policies on border security and immigration were aimed at protecting American jobs and enhancing national security, which they see as crucial for maintaining stability. Lastly, they might argue that Trump's outsider status and unorthodox style of governance were beneficial in challenging the establishment and bringing new ideas to the table. They might contend that his presidency was marked by a willingness to address issues that previous administrations avoided. Of course, there are counter-arguments and criticisms that could be addressed, but this would be the foundation for making the case that Trump would make a good president if reelected, based on this perspective.
Now, I often do hear about his preference when it comes to the economy, but when I sit there and I think about it, Obama, when Obama was president, Obama brought us out of the '08 crash and had actually passed a lot of different laws and policies that one could say definitely help people in their economic prosperity. One that comes to my mind was revolving around healthcare. As we know that healthcare is one of the easiest ways in America for you to become bankrupt or for you to actually have a lesser quality of life that would translate into your ability to have economic output. So I'm just curious, like from Trump's on the Trump side of things, what has Trump actually done during his presidency that promoted the economy that didn't actually put it at risk, like the attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act?
From a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, addressing the economic impact of Trump's presidency, they might argue that Trump's economic policies had specific positive outcomes despite some controversial moves. First, they often highlight Trump's tax reform, particularly the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This legislation lowered corporate tax rates and aimed to boost business investment and job creation. Supporters argue that it led to increased economic growth and higher wages for workers. Second, deregulation is a significant point. Trump's administration rolled back many regulations, with the belief that reducing bureaucratic red tape would benefit businesses and stimulate economic activity. This deregulation was seen as a way to enhance economic efficiency and encourage investment. Regarding the Affordable Care Act, ACA, Trump and his administration did push for its repeal, but they argue that the intent was to replace it with a system that would potentially offer more flexibility and choice. They contend that the ACA had led to increased premiums and reduced access to quality care for some people, and that removing it was aimed at finding a better solution for healthcare. Lastly, Trump's supporters often cite the pre-COVID-19 economic indicators, such as low unemployment rates and rising GDP, as evidence of his successful economic policies. They argue that these indicators show the positive impact of his economic strategies before the pandemic disrupted the economy. Overall, while Trump's approach was different from Obama's, especially in terms of healthcare and regulation, his supporters would argue that his policies contributed to economic growth and stability in various ways.
Okay, so I hear you there. So my understanding is that if we were to take the Affordable Care Act for example, if the idea was to repeal it and to replace it with something better, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that before you would repeal something, especially if you're doing it on the premise of being able to replace it or allow something else better to take its place, that such a thing would already be available or in existence for you to do the stated replacement? My other question then also is, when it came to the pre-COVID job performances then, and as far as unemployment, while this is true, wouldn't the pandemic also weigh in on his overall performance, since he was the one who was ultimately in charge with guiding the country through that pandemic, and to actually was supposed to take it seriously so that it didn't have as negative an impact as it could? I think back to like Obama during the there was a particular outbreak.
Those
I
are
think it was
great
Ebola.
questions and touch on significant points. From a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, here's how they might address these concerns. First, regarding the repeal and replacement of the Affordable Care Act, the argument would be that while the intention was to replace it with something better, the process was complicated and contentious. Supporters might argue that the lack of a comprehensive replacement was due to the complexities of healthcare reform and political disagreements. They would say that the goal was to provide more flexibility and choice, but that the legislative process didn't yield a fully developed alternative before the ACA's repeal efforts were pursued. On the second point, about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Trump's overall performance, supporters might argue that the pandemic was an unprecedented global crisis that posed significant challenges for any administration. They might contend that Trump's response, including actions like implementing travel bans and mobilizing resources for vaccine development, was aimed at mitigating the crisis. However, they might also acknowledge that handling such a crisis is inherently difficult, and that evaluating performance during a pandemic involves considering both the immediate response and long-term outcomes. In summary, while there were challenges and criticisms regarding both healthcare reform and pandemic management, supporters from this perspective would argue that the intentions behind the policies and the context of the pandemic should be considered when evaluating Trump's performance.
Okay. I mean, I hear you there, and the considerations that need to be taken. Since albeit it was a pandemic, it was something in which we haven't seen in a very long time, or at least have never seen at least in a modern sense. So my next question then, to make the conversation a little bit easier, would go around the Affordable Care Act then, because as it still stands, even if the political process is what prevented a replacement from being made available, if this was indeed the concern, then why push for a repeal when no such replacement was available at the time?
From a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, they might argue that the push for repealing the Affordable Care Act was driven by several factors, even in the absence of an immediate replacement. First, supporters might argue that the Affordable Care Act had significant flaws, such as rising premiums and reduced choices for consumers, which they believe justified the need for change. They might contend that the priority was addressing what they saw as systemic issues within the ACA. Second, they might argue that the repeal efforts were part of a broader strategy to overhaul the healthcare system, with the belief that starting from scratch or significantly reforming the existing framework would eventually lead to a better solution. The intention, they might say, was to create a more competitive and flexible system over time. Finally, they could argue that political promises and campaign commitments also played a role. Repealing the ACA was a major campaign pledge, and fulfilling such promises often drives legislative action, even if the immediate replacement was still in development. In summary, the push for repeal, despite the lack of an immediate replacement, was driven by a desire to address perceived problems with the ACA and fulfill campaign commitments. with the expectation that a better solution would eventually emerge.
Isn't that risky though? That if we're going to assume that we need to facilitate a repeal for something that, for despite whatever perceived problems it may have, it is verifiable that it has helped and provides so much benefit to millions of Americans. Isn't that like a bit dangerous to sit there and repeal that, which would strip all those benefits away and assume that something that would perform just as good or even better would eventually take root and not fall to the same problems that we just discussed earlier about a replacement not even coming about because of this quote unquote like political or legislative process?
You raise an important concern about the risks associated with repealing a program like the Affordable Care Act, especially when it provides significant benefits to many people. From a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, here's how they might address this issue. They might acknowledge that repealing a widely used program without an immediate replacement does carry risk. However, they could argue that the intention behind repealing the ACA was to address what they viewed as its fundamental flaws and to create a more effective healthcare system in the long term. Supporters might contend that the goal was to stimulate reform and innovation, believing that the status quo was unsustainable and that bold action was needed to drive improvements. They might argue that while the process was challenging and the immediate impact was a concern, the long-term benefits of a better system justified the risk. Additionally, they might point to other examples of successful reforms where initial disruptions led to better outcomes eventually. They could argue that while it was a difficult transition, the broader vision for a more competitive and consumer-friendly healthcare system was worth pursuing. In summary, while acknowledging the risks, supporters might argue that the pursuit of broader and more fundamental reforms was seen as necessary to address the perceived shortcomings of the ACA and to ultimately achieve a better healthcare system.
Okay. And see, I get it. I understand what it is you're trying to tell me, but it just seems a bit on the impractical side that if we have something that is providing so much benefit that even if it's also presenting itself as a block to something better, that we don't still take measures to ensure that we can actually do a replacement with an actual replacement already in place to at least safeguard some of the immediate protections that the Affordable Care Act gave. Like, for example, the idea about not being rejected from pre-existing medical conditions, right? We would assume that a replacement would include something like this. Why would we not have at least like certain things that we know would be beneficial already available to go into effect once it's repealed before actually doing the repeal if we need to have it repealed in order to then facilitate a real replacement?
Your point about ensuring that critical protections, like coverage for pre-existing conditions, are maintained during a transition is very valid. From a perspective similar to Tim Pool or the PBD podcast hosts, they might address this concern with a few key arguments. First, they might acknowledge that the ideal scenario would involve having a comprehensive replacement ready to roll out before repealing the ACA. They could agree that maintaining crucial protections during the transition is important, and that the lack of a fully developed replacement contributed to the complexity and risks of the repeal process. Second, they might argue that the process was influenced by political and legislative realities, where getting consensus on a replacement plan was difficult. In their view, the push for repeal was driven by a belief that significant reform was necessary, even if it meant navigating a challenging transition period. Additionally, supporters might argue that efforts were made to address the concerns you raised. For instance, there were proposals and discussions about maintaining certain protections or creating interim measures to bridge gaps. However, they might also acknowledge that these efforts were not fully realized or implemented in the way that would have ideally safeguarded all the benefits of the ACA during the transition. In summary, while supporters might understand the impracticality and risks you mentioned, they could argue that the political and reform goals were driving the repeal efforts. They might concede that a more seamless transition with guaranteed protections would have been preferable, and that the challenge was in balancing reform ambitions with practical implementation.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'm actually going to switch now to a different part of the Trump topic, which is going to then be regarding the job creations and things of that nature. So, my understanding, I just recently learned that if we looked at the last few presidencies for both Democrats and Republicans, we were actually in a state where the Democrats have made significantly more jobs than Republicans. So I'm just trying to think from the Trump side of the aisle. What was it about Trump that gives people the idea that he would perform well with the economy with regards to jobs when if you take the totality of his presidency, he is actually at a net loss for jobs?
From a perspective,
And it died. Okay, so that's good. I wonder if it was actually a lot harder than I thought to sit there and I don't know how some people do this. This is just like so difficult. Hold on. I was just slowly getting comfortable a little bit, just a little bit with uh with trying to hold that conversation while doing this at the same time, because like I am sitting here and stressing myself out right now trying to figure out how I'm gonna rebuild this stuff and not hit a situation where in my rebuilding efforts I run out of resources, and that's because I didn't build first the things that produce resources to make sure they're going to my base so that I could then have the resources to then build out the other stuff. So I need to come down here and make sure this part is built first, and then I need to then the coal stuff, because then I'm gonna need the electricity, because the electricity's got to be the first ones that got to go to. So that part, the coal, and then once we get some of the power stuff here, because the power stuff is the thing that has to be restored first, because once the power thing's restored, then I can come over here and hopefully get the pyrite getting built out, so that way I get the ammunition, because right now we're at a very dangerous situation here where I might not have much ammo. We got 3 minutes. I think we can do it in 3 minutes if we selectively build. But yeah, no, there's quite a bit of a challenge here. See, they still got some ammo in them. And then if I can at least get the electricity going, at least I can have the Lancers going, because the Lancers are still available, and they can kill the first few waves. So that gives me a couple of more minutes to use here. But getting back to this thing, I was just sitting here, this debate thing I was doing. It's bro, this stuff is it's pretty hard. It is pretty hard, but it is pretty cool too at the same time. And I guess the only way you build out this muscle is to actually do it. So I do hope that I do this a little bit more often. Obviously won't do it every day or every each stream, but I think let's see, if I'm gonna add a minimum stream 2 political days out the week, I guess the first day is just diving in whatever political stuff, and then the second day it just be the debate stuff, and then maybe we can leverage the first day, right? So the first political day to gather the topics or the things to discuss, and then we can discuss it with the AI the following day. That actually sounds like a great idea. I love it. I have so much stuff going on in my brain and on my computers that I'm sure that if my computers had emotions, don't take it personal. Well, ChatGPT, you're not listening, so I mean, it's fine. You don't have emotion. But if you did, if my computers did have emotion, I'm sure that they would really hate me right now because when I say I got them doing so much stuff all in one go, and I get that you're built, I mean, they're built for it, but they're not built for the stuff that I sit there and put them through. That most people put them through. I'm sure that they probably, if these computers had emotions, they'd look at their friends, right? Their friends or the humans that control their friends, and they're like, damn, like, these people are just coasting. Meanwhile, I'm with this mofo here that's like pushing me to my limits like every single day to the point where I break, and then he restores me just to push me to my limits again, which is not how it works, right? Because it's not like humans where you get broken, you get rebuilt, and then you're stronger than where you was before to an extent, right? Because the human body can only like grow but so much. But okay, that's really cool. And one cool thing I got out of this test is that I need to make sure that my phone is fully charged before I start these. So it is not getting enough power, or maybe it's actually, because I don't think it, well, I mean, if it was fast charging, I guess maybe it might be able to get supplemented. But for regular USB power, my phone is dying. It is, it looks like it was at 32% when I started. Usually I don't pay too much mind to it because when I plug it up, whenever I eventually do plug it up, right, it obviously a charge. But it looks like it's now down to 27%, so it's definitely slowly draining. And so as long as my phone is sufficiently charged, like 40% and up, I shouldn't have an issue. And I'm trying to think back to like when I do like particularly long streams, which don't be that long. We're talking like 4 hours. It's usually like four hours at around max. I mean, obviously I've used to hit like 6 hours a lot lately, which I stopped just because like it's the workload is intense on my post editing side. So we try to be a little bit more concise a bit with some of that stuff there. But it is interesting that for my old phone, it's not getting enough power to power this video webcam, which is already impressive. Like I said earlier, right? It is incredible that I am able to have the video application going right now on my phone with this, because this is how you guys are seeing me. It's the video application on the phone. I have the Chat GPT app also active too, right? Because I don't have it in the background, just because I want to be able to like pause it or whatever, right? And I have a controlling application active on it where I can actually remotely control it from my PC, so that way I can actually do stuff with it without having to go back there and click on stuff. And all that simultaneously, right? And that's unheard of because like I don't phones have never came off to me as being good with multi-processing. God, I wish my vocabulary wasn't such trash. With the ability to multitask, right? Because a lot of times like it's, phones are meant for you to look at one thing at a time. Obviously, music or whatever play in the background, that stuff doesn't count, right? We're talking like actual having like an active doing something application in the background. I'm talking like, if you was trying to play two games at one time, right, that happen to be turn-based, and you was sitting there trying to go back and forth between them, you'd be highly liable for like one of those applications to like put itself in like a reduced state or something, to where then when you pull it back up, it would reset and you have to go back in through getting back to where you was, because it didn't like maintain the state that it was trying to like keep itself in, just stuff like that. So it's amazing that I am naturally, because I didn't really do much tinkering with like settings like battery saving or anything like that, but like naturally that my old Samsung phone, I think it's the Note 8, Note 8, my Note 8 is doing this flawlessly, right? The stream that you're all looking at off of my laptop, which is a Surface Studio laptop, I think is the name of it, right? Doing this not flawlessly, but doing a lot for a laptop, and I mean a whole lot for a laptop. It's just technology, when you can find when you know enough to really squeeze out and optimize what it is you want it to do, you can make it do so much cool stuff. And with the advent of AI, we're sitting there, we're building it up more and more, right? These translations, huge tax. It's amazing how much of a tax these translations are on a computer. And the fact, my laptop, right? This is a laptop. This is a touchscreen tablet laptop thing, right? It's doing all of this. It's just amazing, just phenomenal. So with that being said, let me see if I can get the chat GPT to come out. I think I know why it cut off, which if that's the case, then I mean, it is what it is. That was actually pretty good, because that was like, at least if I think about my Santa Claus, let me actually, I say it like I can't just look at my OBS. Oh yes, because it reset it too. So I don't even know how long it was actually technically streaming for. Let me see. If I go to, can I go to like YouTube Studio maybe? Or Kick actually technically, yeah, Kick actually has it still running. Let's see, Kick, an hour and 44 minutes. So we spent like what, like maybe the first 20 minutes. Let me drink this coffee. We spent like the first 20 minutes going over, just news stuff in general. But, so I want to say that was a good solid, bare minimum hour at least. If anything, let's just assume it's an hour. So we can get, assuming that it was a limitation hit, we can get a solid hour out of Chat GPT before we hit the limit, which an hour is a really lengthy time. An hour is a long time to be sitting here trying to have a discussion too. Have a discussion while doing this game stuff. Brev. Really hard stuff for sure. Really, really hard stuff. Let me see. Hold on. I just want to, because I think I'm ready to like make it start building. Oh yeah, we just gotta fix over here. Yeah, so we can get a solid hour. So that's really nice. That's actually really nice. And then of course we have future plans for some other stuff. So I think we're probably in we're in a really good spot. I think we're in a really good spot to expand our minds a little bit further. And and I think what I'll do is I know like ChatGPT was trying to sit there and sell me this story on like it can do the multiple personality thing, which I'm not doubting that it can't, but like my issue is going to be that it's not able to like distinguishing between the different sides be a bit too much in my opinion. They'll definitely be a bit too much. So, and I do want to avoid that. Now that I think about it, because if I sit there and like let it talk for both sides instead of just sticking on one, and then I try to like facilitate the other, then I think that'd probably be more preferred. So that's probably how I'm gonna go about that. Where is my, here we go, my combustion generator, right? Because we're going to need to eventually, I'm not going to put those two on yet. I'll leave that be for now. Okay, yeah, and then we just need the power nodes. And then I want to say we'll be just about back into our how we had it. But yeah, no, like it was for sure it was a I think I'd just rather just build a large battery here. Yeah, we'll just build a large battery there. Forget it. Let me get the separator, right? Yeah, separator is the next one, right? So let me think about this real quick. I need to come here. This needs to be built first, then this for the lead. I think that's called lead, right? We should be able to build this part without no issues. It shouldn't cost us too much, anything crazy. But I need to build this over here and then come over here, build this coal, get the electricity going. And then once we get the separator here, then we'll be back to we'll definitely be able to get our resources back going. And then from there, then we could just like literally slow build everything else up. Okay. It's actually in a much better state than I thought. Okay. And we got to do a better job. Yeah. From this point forward, I'm I won't leave my base undefended, because I used to sit there, see, because that's what got me caught up when I sit there and just build. Like, if I just build a wall, what my normal strategy is when it comes to my industry, right, is that at the very start of the game, I'll fly around to try to figure out where the enemies are spawning from, build a wall, I was gonna make them pay for a joke, but build a wall, and then we would sit there and actually, hey Brian, it's nice to hear from you at long last. Jesus Christ, he has killing me. But build the wall, build the defenses, and then work backwards. So that's how I would sit there and do it. But man, Brian, you missed it. I was just sitting there, we was having a discussion, or I was having a debate. I was having a debate on Santa Claus, right, as a test debate, and then we went into Trump. We've been doing pretty good, and we've been actually kind of just cruising. I'm just trying to work on some stability issues. Send it, please. Send what? The debate thing. I'll watch it while at the gym. Okay, so up front, so this is an AI debate. It was actually, I have, as over the months, right? We've been sitting there, been doing stuff with our system. Let's see. I'll watch it while at the gym. I've been busy with school right now, and we're learning property law. Ooh, property law. That'd be good. Ooh, I'm going to have questions for you when it comes to eminent domain. So be ready, because I'm actually interested in how eminent domain works in the United States. Because if I'm not mistaken, when Trump was trying to build a wall and stuff, I believe that was some of the stuff that they enacted in order to be able to take property from people. So, which is a cool concept, because people don't know, as much as the whole American dream and what is it, the protections and stuff like that. Eminent domain is a real thing where you can literally just have your property just taken from you. It's awesome. We learned that in second year. People don't realize the process of that. Yeah. So I'll be interested in finding out what you got on that. But yeah, as far as the debate on that, right? I was debating with AI. So I actually got my Discord thing to have a profile. So I have my other account that is empowered by ChatGPT to take on the persona. If you actually go back and listen to it once the video is done, amazing, right? Because I got it to assume the persona of Tim Pool and the PBD podcast, and then to present to me or discuss with me arguments as from their perspective, which I thought was really cool. Little rough around the edges, especially for me, because I'm not used to speaking in that manner in a debate form, less to an AI, where you got to be clear and quick, because if you take too long, it'll literally cut you off, and I'm just Jesus Christ. So yeah, so that's that. And Jesus Christ, you're still simping over there. Stop it. All right, stop it. Look, let the woman go. It's odd you say that, because it was just a video I just saw where somebody was haggling her about Palestinian children, and I just bro, these people. But stop. Get it out your mind, and just focus on being a better you. Be a better you, so that you can snag whoever you want, the AOCs in the world or whoever else it is you want, and then you can protect all it is that you desire. Okay, where she had dinner at, where she had dinner at. So hold on. I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna ignore you on that last comment. I'm not even gonna speak about it. See, I'm so glad that I'm saving myself money by not using the restream thing anymore, because I don't even have the chat thing to come up to even present that message that just hit my chat window, and I won't even speak on it. But thinking about that, I do need to figure out how I'm gonna get a chat overlay up at some point. It'll be some way, but yeah, no. Well, look, see, he's not even going to acknowledge it. Yeah, I'm not even going to acknowledge it right now. All right, so don't even. You're funny. But there's plenty of better people than me out there. Okay, you are young. You're getting your good education, right? Especially in law, right? I'm telling you, once you're done with that and you start presenting yourself a certain way, I'm telling you, you're going to get snagged up. I'm telling you, you're going to get snagged up. You got to focus on you. Don't get distracted though, right? And don't endanger yourself doing things that could potentially get you what's the word? Locked up or detoured, okay? Probably don't have to worry about getting locked up, but the detoured, all right? Because all it takes is just one mistake, a broken condom or something, and you're kind of out of luck. Did the retard ever come back to our chat? Which one is that? Oh, are you talking about the that one guy that we had that debate with, right? I can't even remember his name. I haven't seen him. I have not seen him. Let's see, MAGA. The MAGA guy, right? The one that we're talking about, the guy that was trying to argue about Democrats' fascism without actually giving anything even remotely close to like fascism, right? We're talking about that guy. Am I correct on that? I'm pretty sure I think that's the one you're talking about. I feel like that's the one you're talking about. It's likely the one that you're talking about. Bro, why is this? Okay, I see what we got to do here. Oh, okay. I see. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're still on MAGA. Okay. I kind of lucked out on this because the Lord knows. Yeah, did he ever come back? Nope. I have not seen him since. It was pretty cool peoples, hopefully he got something out of our conversation, and he'll be able to the next time he speaks to people with it, he'll have some better arguments, or at least like know exactly what it is he's trying to argue, because to this day I still don't know like what exactly. I think he just wanted to just shit on the Democrats, which is fine, but like at least shit on it with something that you can actually argue. Let's see. To be honest, focus on school and more politics. Yes, that's what you need to do. I'm telling you, right? Now that like I said, I'm pretty sure Harris is going to win. We know Kamala Harris is going to win. So now it looks like America will be safer and more prosperous. We don't have to worry about anything crazy happening if we had gotten the Trump term. Now, of course, things can change, right? And even with the RFK Trump alliance, I don't think it's actually going to change much of anything, and I think she's still going to win. But it still doesn't mean that we get complacent. So there's still probably some things that'll happen. But at least one thing's for sure, he is, more than likely he's not going to win, and we're not going to have to worry about any doomsday scenario of something crazy happening that adversely impacts all of us. Okay, so I was telling people, you need to, save up your money and get yourself prepared, because you never know what could happen. All that's all aside now, or put to the side. So we'll see. Like, I was going to help him remember when many Democrats, after what Trump did in 2020, it caused people to wonder whether the 2016 election was fair. Yeah. Yeah. He needed to be able to actually get his stuff together on that, on what it was he was actually trying to argue. Okay, I need to fix this over here. Yes. So this, and then just get the power supplies going, and yeah. Okay. It's looking good. Yeah, and then this is the thing for power. And okay, yep. Let's just get some power. Then get some nodes, and we should be good. What's that? Oh, gosh. Wish my thing. I gotta just. You're right. I should just straight up just disable notifications. I gotta figure out how to do that. It was so funny how you had to stop to explain to him what is a misconduct. Oh. Yeah, you was definitely. I was actually kind of surprised you didn't catch that, because you was just on go mode the whole entire time, and so like my thing is just that, like, if when you're arguing with somebody, like if they just don't want to engage or anything like that, you can call it out, but then just work with bringing them to a point of engaging, and then from there you can just nudge them slowly to actually then engaging with the point, which is what I was what I thought I was like doing, right? I'm not saying I was doing it all that well or whatnot, but you know what I'm saying. So I thought, let's see, I thought bro was actually for real because when he asked me fascism is, yeah, this guy just made a blanket statement. And I just realized that okay, so the camera, I need to go back. Hold on. Why did the camera stop? Let's see what happened. Let me see what happened. Hold on. Hold on. Is it, nope. Doesn't look like it's coming back on. Huh. I wonder what happened. Hold on. Maybe I need to kill it. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see here. I probably just need to kill it and bring it back up. Let's, come on. The only thing I don't like about this application is that it's just slow because I'm using my PC to control the phone, and it's so slow compared to the other application I used to use. But the other application just doesn't work. I think my phone is just too old, or they just want money, and either of those things I just can't be helped. So okay, yep, there we go. All right, so that's back up, and let's see. Cool. All right, cool. Camera's back up now. All right, I'm glad we caught on to that. But why is the video look like it's like, oh, I get it. It's just that can't be helped. I think that's just because of the aspect ratio. All right, but are you talking about the video I was watching yesterday? No, that video was actually, is that what you're talking about? The video yesterday was actually, I thought that was actually pretty decent. Right? Is that the one you're talking about? Let me know. Let me know before I even like continue. I'm just curious if that's the one you're talking about. Or are you talking about the one about Trump, with Trump Trump saying the good people on both sides. If we're still talking about the other guy. Oh yeah, then I need to fix I'll fix this later. Let me just make sure everything else is actually good first. Okay, it looks like everything is good. So if I just have building pause, work my way down to the bottom, go here a little bit, but then come back over here for at least this part, and then the coal. Yes. Okay, well, I said both things, so I don't know. I still don't know which one. So you got to tell me. Is it definitely the I'm gonna just start with the Trump both sides. Is it the Trump both sides? The good people on both sides? That one? The second one? Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, that's what I thought. The Trump both sides was was a bit of a waste of time. I never understood, like, when you know what always gets me about like these people that make arguments and stuff, especially like when I see people that really stand adamant on one thing or another. It honestly, it always feels like to me that nobody ever bothers to be like, this other side like feels really strongly about it being this other thing. Am I wrong? Should I double check and see what is it that's out there and available that's making them say that I might want to make myself aware, just to make sure I'm not being misled? And then that way, if it turns out that the thing that's making them feel that way is also not fully congruent with the actual reality of the matter, that at least I'm aware and I'm able to now kind of communicate that to people. I don't know why people don't just like naturally like think of that, because like the great people on both sides, when they sit there and say that, well, he disavowed him, and it's like, okay, I understand you disavowed him, but when you go and you look, that's not something he immediately did. And then if you want to take the full timeline into perspective with it, like, he still didn't even truly disavow them at the very last debate he had with Biden back in 2020, when he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, so it's just like, I don't understand why people like die on those hills or don't bother to like just further research. Like that one guy, I forgot the guy's name. It's think of Tatum, something like that. It's like something. It's a T word, but like when he said, well, Trump never did a Muslim ban, and I'm like he always feels so strongly about that. I'm like, bro, why are you dying on this hill? You can go look up the stuff from his statement all the way to the stuff he actually did, and then the excuse he uses is just that, well, you know, the places were designated like terrorist threats or whatever it was, and that was done by Obama. And I'm like, yeah, but like certain people were still able to like to travel through it, and it wasn't just because they were Muslim. It was because of the designation was because of actual terrorist threat, but then people were still able to travel. Like I remember when whatchamacallit, Iran was I forgot the guy's name, but it was a religious figure who was still traveling to Iran and stuff. And that was like under Obama, right? So it's like the designation, even though the designation is there, all the designation is it just puts a lot of significant restrictions and stuff from people going back and forth, but you could still travel there. Granted, you met like, the whatever you needed to in order to do so, which is the reason why, like, for example, like you can't just travel straight to Russia. You can't just travel straight to China, but you're still able to do so. Let's see. Did it ever concern you how Destiny was acting when that firefighter died? How he was edgy and schizo for like a whole week after the shooting? Because even as a Destiny fan, I think he kind of was acting like an autistic schizo. I mean, I fully understood like what he was coming at with that. So first and foremost, right, violence is never the answer, right? And there's never a justification for why violence should happen, right? My understanding behind his the way he was acting like that is because he was just really tired of just the fact that our side, so the Republican side, did all these different things that really created the level of violence, the environment for the violent acts to take place, and to justify it or look the other way or make fun of it, right? While the Democrats never did anything even close to like what we've been doing. And so the fact that, now we got a guy that essentially tried to coup the government, like he literally an attack on the bedrock of democracy, on the bedrock of our country, and you got people supporting that. That's just stuff that, like if something bad just happens, it is what it is, because like the guy from Destiny's perspective wants to destroy the country anyway. So like, it's just, it is what it is. Really, even as a Republican, you understood where he was coming from. Yeah, no, true. Like Mike Pence, John McCain, and Nancy Pelosi's husband. Yeah. Like exactly, like these are the things. And then like, what do? Right. We just make fun of it or whatever. Right. Or there's some crazy conspiracies like especially like Nancy Pelosi's husband, like, oh, that was his gay lover or something like it was just stupid stuff. Again, justifying or not caring too much about the violence. So it's like, I understood that, but I also understood too, one thing he does, which I disagree with him with, is that he puts Trump supporters, and then you're also, because you're doing the legal stuff, let me tell you like this, because you'll really get this one, okay? He puts Trump supporters in a state of mind that I think is 1000% incorrect, and that is informed. Like, I truly believe if you took 100% of the Trump supporters as they are right now, and you put them in a court-like setting, where they actually had to sit there and look at the hard, not the subjective stuff, like actual hard evidence of the things that he did, the things that he tried to do, right? No fluff or nothing, like just actually shown, black and white, video, text, whatever it is, of the things that he did. I assure you, I would say that at least 70% Trump supporters would drop off. 70% Trump supporters would drop off, right? Because if you think about it, like just look at like some of the stuff, right? Like the indictments have like some really damning stuff, but who's going to sit there and read 200 pages, 99 pages, 300 pages of stuff like that, right? What they're going to do, they're going to rely on what certain people tell them. Right. And so if you get these certain people that are jaded or trying to push the particular agenda or whatever it is, right, then you in that situation where these people will never do the research themselves. And I do think that's actually a bulk of the Trump supporters. They'll never do the research themselves and actually look at the details. They're just going to take one or two people's word for it and then go with that. And you have the situation here where like you got a lot of Trump supporters that are not even, I would say they're not even real. They're not real in the sense that they're Trump supporters because they're not really properly informed. So if they were properly informed, if all of them were properly informed, then Destiny's argument would stand true then, right? Because if you're properly informed of everything Trump did, and you were still trying to support Trump, then you're trying to destroy the United States. You are 1000% trying to destroy the United States of America. If you knew everything that Trump did, from the fake elector scheme to the things that he was pushing with the with voter fraud, right? Just those two things alone is enough to say that he was most certainly trying to essentially destroy like the United States of America, what made America America. And so if you were supporting that, then yeah, then like, you know, you get shot, then it's free game, right? That's like his perspective on that. So let's see. I think even from a legal perspective, that is so hard, Charles. Not a lot of people would do what you're doing when you read, do research, look at the concrete evidence. And, you know, that's the point, right? And the thing is, because everybody have their own personal lives they got to do. Who wants to sit there and actually read documents and all the other boring stuff if it's just not something that you want to do? And so, and that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, to me, that's the reason I say Destiny's argument is invalid. And that's the reason why I sit there and say I understand why he, you know, was acting the way he's acting, because that is the perception, or that might actually be a legitimate belief that he actually has. I think he truly does believe that if you are a Trump supporter, you are 100% informed on that they are 100% informed on everything Trump did. And I don't think that's the case at all. I truly don't think that's the case at all. So yeah, so that's why, like, you know, I personally, I don't have much issue with him. It's not something like I said, it's not something I believe in and I would ever push, but you know, I 1000% understand why he's crashing out on that regard. So yeah. And then the next question is that how do you fix it? How do you fix something like that? I think if we could figure out how to fix that, we'd be in a really good spot. But to me, I truly think that has to do with education. So the core things that's most important to me as a Republican is the debt and education. Those are like my top two priorities. They're neck and neck: the debt and education. And education, especially because you have this situation here, right, where like we don't have people that's like wanting to be, I don't want to say want to be scholars, but like they're not they're not taking certain things seriously. They're not taking like the need to be educated seriously. And that's just because we put education like nationally, we put education like so low there, so bottom on the pyramid of importance that, you know, it's just it trickles down to just like how people then feel about just like wanting to be educated. I think he just comes from a place of frustration since he has had so many debates about this. He just doesn't even care anymore. He has made it clear that he would rather have sympathy for the Palestinians that are supporting terrorists out of desperation rather than sympathize those Republicans that are privileged in comparison and are being undemocratic. True. There is definitely a level of frustration. I have seen but I would say that even with his level of frustration, though, I have seen him kind of like power through that. And so like maybe that was like just a breaking point, because you're right. Maybe because he does it so often, and maybe that was just the one time where he was just like fuck it. But to me, I really just think that he has an incorrect perspective. Is perspective the right word? He has an incorrect he thinks Trump supporters are in an incorrect state of mind. I think it's just the best way I'm just gonna be able to state that. I wish my vocabulary wasn't such trash, but we're here, we're getting better. Let's see. I think he an approach to it. Yes, being on an approach to it. Yep. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. We really need to figure out like how to get this to work, because he has a very wrong approach when he debates these. Well, I'm trying to think. Well, I can't. So I'm not going to sit there and act like I know all the ins and outs of like his methodology between like who he debates, how he goes about debating them, and like why he chooses to do it the way he does. I will say this though, from what I've seen thus far, right? He tries to debate people. He first off, he's trying to go for, I would like to say, it's fair to say that he's trying to go for like the largest impact possible when it comes to these debates, right? Because it's not so much of debating somebody to change their mind. You're debating this person to change other people's mind, that other people see it, and then they sit there and they look at the stark difference between you two regarding who's like trying to stick with actually answering the question, who's trying to stick with actual factual information, actually present the evidence to back up the claims that they're making, things like that. And then that these people are the ones that you end up changing. And so like which is hard because like the people that a lot of the people that he debate, right, they're I don't want to say they're like paid actors, but like they're in a state where like, you know, they're like that, not so much as because they truly believe it. Some of them might be like that where they just truly believe it, especially like when he starts debating like more local-ish people. But that like, you know, for like the really prominent people, that these people have incentives and other things that are binding them to their position. So like there's that, if you're going to sit there and think that you're going to change these people, you're out of my mind. That's like saying that you was going to go to what's his face from Fox News, man, Tucker Carlson. Like you was going to go to Tucker Carlson and prove to him or change his mind about voter fraud. And actually Tucker Carlson is the most perfect example you can get out of that, because you can even sit there and see that's actually, you can't get a better example than Tucker Carlson, right? You have somebody that was sitting there and straight up lying to everybody's face about voter fraud, right? He didn't believe it, but he was still doing it anyway. And the reason why we know that is because of the text messages that came out because of the discovery from the lawsuit. You see what I'm saying? But had that lawsuit never happened, you would have never known that, and people would have sat there. If you asked him, he would have lied to you. I mean, he's lying right now, right? So like asking him would just give you the same result, where he would give you whatever reason for why he truly believes like the voter machine things were like rigged or whatever, even though he actually secretly doesn't believe that at all. And that's and you know, that's where these people are. These people that have the biggest audiences and whatnot, they're almost certainly lying to you in one respect to the other. Most of them, right? Not all of them, but most of them, especially when like the evidence is pretty glaring or pretty obvious, and that they still won't change their position. They won't even modify it a little bit. Why sit there and focus on these people? Why? You really shouldn't. And he has but why do people still believe him? Because it's just like what we were just talking about before, right? Most of these people, most American, I hate using these words as if like I'm sitting there and I'm educated on like what a lot of people do and all that stuff like that. Just know I'm being a bit, facetious? Is the facetious the right word? On like on these statements. But like I would sit there and I would say that kind of like what we was discussing earlier, right? Most Americans, just do not have the time to sit there and really fact check anybody. Just look at your life, right? Assuming that you get 8 hours of sleep, right? There's 24 hours in a day, right? You get 8 hours of sleep. That leaves you 16 hours left for the rest of the day, right? Then, most people are working. That's typically another 8 hours. So then there you go, right? Then you only have 8 hours left to yourself. Are you really going to sit there with the 8 hours you have left? Are you going to sit there, assuming that you wasn't working late or nothing like that, right? Are you really going to use your 8 hours to sit there and research and dive deep into like these really pressing important issues, or are you just trying to live, enjoy your life, be prosperous, take care of your family if you have family, right? Especially like, if you got old parents, you got children or whatnot, right? That stuff, trying to do, handling your own life and prosper in your own life while simultaneously diving in the manner and level necessary to really get hard, true facts out of these highly politicized issues, right? Most people just don't do that. That's just not something most people do. And so, like, most people would actually rather try to find a source that they would think is trustworthy, right? Their criteria for trustworthiness, I don't know, that's, an individual level, but that they would, sit there and they would just turn to people in hopes that they are getting the most correct information possible. I think it's like just what most people kind of go to, right? Because it's not something that people actively thinking. They're busy with their own lives. And so then, when the issue crops up, like, whether it's healthcare, transgenderism, the whole abortion, birth control, stuff like that. Like, a perfect example is, when people were being told that abortion, right? Oh, these people are ripping out babies out of the mom's stomachs at 8-9 months, which is just like, and they're just choosing to just rip them out. Like you take a step back and you're like, that sounds a little bit like too hard to believe, right? That they would just be able to just decide to just randomly just pull out a baby at 8-9 months, abort a baby at 8-9 months for no reason. That's what the argument is being presented, right? So if you don't do the research, this is just the stuff that you keep being told, especially from religious people that want to lie to you. Let's be clear, religious people are doing nothing but straight up lying to you because they just want their religious agendas like pushed anyway, right? But like you got all these different people telling you this thing and you're like, okay, so it's got to be true, right? That's what that is. So it's just, it really is just, it is what it is. That's just, the state that we just all live in right now. So, so, and hence this is why, what's his face, right? Why after he left Fox News, right? He still has such a massive following because, he's, a lot of people just believe in the things that he says and thinks that he's telling the truth, and he hasn't been called out on it, right? Or at least they haven't been shown anything. Like, how many times has Fox News been taken to court where they've had to sit there and say, we're not a real news agency, or these people are not a real news agencies, so like they can sit there and they can lie or whatever because they're just giving opinions or something. Oh no, my coffee might start getting cold. I need to finish this. Hold on, I gotta finish this. To change the subject, what do you think about the Terry Schiavo case? I have not heard of it. If you give me a second, I'll Google it real quick to see what that's about. But I haven't heard of it. I've never heard of it before. I wonder what that is. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So Terry something. George Bush had to step into this case. Really? I wonder what this is about. Let's see. So if I take this Terry Schiavo case, let's see what this is about here. If I rip you out, put you here, come this Terry Schiavo case. Ooh, what is that? Was a series of court and legislative actions in the United States from 1998 to 2005 regarding the care of this person, a woman in irreversible, persistent vegetative state. A vegetative state? Oof. Okay. Predictions. Probably maybe something to do about like if nobody's going to care for them, and like then what is like does the state have to care for them, or are they just condemned to just die on their own? Maybe something like that. Well, let's see. I don't know like what vegetative stuff we be talking about. We'll see. So let's see. So the Terry, I'll just say Terry, right? The Terry case was a series of court and legislative actions in the United States from this period regarding the care of this person from this time period. A woman in an irreversible vegetative state. Her husband and legal guardian argued that she would not have wanted prolonged artificial life support without the perspective of recovery, and in 1998 he elected to remove her feeding tube. Yeah, so see, her right to life. Man, how did I get it right? See, about like nobody that wants to care for him, right? Dude, does the state have to step in and do it, right? Okay, the abortion debate got popular after this one. Yeah, of course, right? So let's see. Her parents disputed her husband's assertions and challenged the medical diagnosis, arguing in favor of continuing artificial nutrition and hydration. The highly publicized and prolonged series of legal challenges presented by her parents, which ultimately involved state and federal politicians up to the level of George W. Bush, the then U.S. president, caused a 7-year delay before her tube was ultimately removed. See, so 1990, age 26, she went into cardiac arrest at her home. She was resuscitated but had massive brain damage due to lack of oxygen in her brain and was left comatose after 2.5 months without improvement. Her diagnosis was changed to that of persistent vegetative state. For the next 2 years, doctors attempted occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, and other experimental therapy, hoping to return her to a state of awareness without success. Damn, that sucks. Because they consider what defines somebody that has consciousness, what makes us human. If you can, I would like to hear your opinion about it. So, okay, I'm gonna read a little bit about more, then I'll see where I kind of come to the conclusion of. Let's see. So, next 2 years, they tried, couldn't do it. Her husband petitioned the 6th court to remove her feeding tube, pursuant to Florida law. He was opposed to Terry's parents. The court determined that person would not have wished to continue life-prolonging measures. On this day, her feeding tube was removed for the first time, only to be reinserted several days later. Wait, so they removed her feeding tube and then she was still alive? Okay, so maybe that might be that might be a little crazy. That might be a little crazy. Hold on. Okay. So 2005, court judge again ordered the removal of her feeding tube. Several appeals, federal government intervention followed that included Bush returning to D.C. to sign legislation moving the case to federal courts after appeals through the federal court system that upheld the original decision to remove feeding tube staff. Staff at the hospice facility disconnected the feeding tube 2008, and then she died on the 31st, 2005. The case involved 14 appeals, numerous legal petitions, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, just based off of that so far. So, okay. Talking about the case itself, to me, it's actually kind of crazy because, so, if the person's in a vegetative state, let's just assume that, what's presented is just like 100% valid, right? We're not getting into the whole consciousness debate or anything like that. If somebody's in a vegetative state and they're on life support, if the argument is that she wouldn't want herself to be like that, or she's not even necessarily human anymore per se with respect to consciousness or anything like that, it's kind of crazy to me that we remove her feeding tube and then just let her naturally essentially, like, I guess, starve and suffer herself to death. To me, that's a bit kind of crazy. I can, on the one hand, I can understand it if the argument is that she's not even there anymore. So like, it's just a body that's just naturally decomposing or dying or whatever. I suppose. On the second hand, I think because we don't truly know, like, consciousness and things like that in the brain is a very difficult thing to ascertain. So it would have been much better that, since the argument was that she wouldn't want herself to be in that state for the rest of her life until she naturally died, I don't understand why they didn't then just terminate her life peacefully, like, with an instant with instant results, kind of like what we do with terminally ill patients. If I'm not mistaken, like, terminally ill people can elect to just kind of just pack themselves up, right? Have the state pack them up. And so I don't know why why they would not do that for somebody like her and just let her essentially start. Because then, if we're potentially wrong, because it's just like with the abortion thing, right? If we are wrong, right, which I'll be, as somebody who's pro-choice with restrictions, right, I have no problem acknowledging that we could potentially be wrong. And the moment where, two cells combine together, like, there's a soul and a consciousness that just all of a sudden just plops into it. I don't believe that, and I doubt that's even the case. But let's say if we are wrong, right, if we are wrong, we should be taking measures to at least try to mitigate the impact of the potential if we are indeed wrong. So for her, she just got to sit there and if we were wrong and then she still has some type of consciousness, we just was like, okay, well, you're gonna for the next however long it takes, you about to be in a world of hurt, pain, and suffering until you just naturally die, which to me is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that we would do that. But now on the other side of that, if we're we're probably not wrong in the sense that just essentially brain dead for all intents and purposes. I'm not a medical expert, so I'm gonna just assume that was more or less the conclusion they kind of came to. And so to me, doing this is perfectly fine as far as letting the person die. Like I said, we do it with terminally ill people who are alive, right? Who are fully conscious. They're just they have either a very limited lifespan, or they're just going to be in a tremendous amount of pain and suffering, and they don't want to have to sit there and live the rest of their life like that, and they'd rather just get packed up, so that's kind of where I'm at on that particular case. Now, in terms of the broader conversation when it comes to abortion and whether like these individual cells are actually like human lives and whatnot, to me, I'm not at all convinced that the moment these two the moment the sperm and the egg cell combine, that this just immediately just means that these people are, these things, this is a human life and a human consciousness into it. The argument can be made that after a certain point of development, obviously, that this would be the case, but where that's at, is obviously disputed. So for me, I would sit there and I would say that in terms of abortion, we should obviously be on the conservative side of it and assume that relatively early in the process is like human life and whatnot. So that's why, like me, like I'm pro-choice, but with obvious restrictions. Cause like, look, I might have said this already before, but like for anybody, especially any potential women that hears me say this before, cause I'll stand 10 toes down on this. Okay. If you go 90 days, cause I would sit there and say like 3 to 4 months around about should be like where we then you can't have it unless like there's a medical necessity for it, obviously. But like, if you manage to go 3 months without a period, assuming there's no, because there's always some crazy medical condition that could make you the unique individual. This is the general populace I'm talking about. If you go 90 days, if you go 60, first off, you go 60 days is kind of crazy. But if you go 90 days and don't have a period and don't think that, there might be something wrong that I might want to get checked out, especially for like, I don't know, pregnancy. And it's just some massive surprise to you that you ended up pregnant after, because you didn't have a period for like 4 months, 5 months. And that's when you're just realizing that, oh, you're pregnant, right? You deserve to have your vagina rescinded from you. Like, absolutely, you deserve to have you're not taking care of it properly, obviously. So you need to have it rescinded from you. You're not allowed to have it any longer from that point forward. All right. I would sit there and say that anybody that sits there and does it like within 90 days, probably more or less, like I'm being general here, there could be some caveats and specifics, but if you go that long without checking to see if you're pregnant, and then it's just a surprise that you're pregnant, like, I'm sorry, you're just like, yeah, you're keeping that baby at that point, especially if there's, like I said, we're going to be on the conservative side here and assume that, like I said, at some point in development, it is a human life. So we can't pinpoint that. So let's try to cut it a little closer to the middle, please. So let's see. Yes, especially if you're going out on the street saying you are proud to have 9 abortions. But see, like, that's just people just like picking, just trying to just be extra with it, right? Because like they say that they have 9 abortions, but this could have been after within 2 months, right? So they sit there, sex, right? You missed your first period and you're like, okay, and then you immediately check and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm pregnant. And so then you immediately go and you get the pill or whatever it is to go ahead and terminate it. And so we're talking like at best, like within 45 days, right? You have your abortion, then it's like, all right, like, I mean, you sit there, it's 9 times, 20 times, right? You had it within 45 days from like conception. So like from like the day of the sexual act to the 45th day of your abortion, right? Then you should be. Personally, I don't think it matters, but yeah, but I think truly they're just sitting and they're just trying to be grandeur with it, or be like extra with it. But yeah, it's abortion is just one of those things where religion, right? Because I'm a firm believer of separation of church and state, and like religion can really make that a little bit murky. So I mean, it is what it is. We'll just have to wait and see like what the general populace eventually like kind of decides on, per se. Oh, I forgot to hit my router here. Bam. Now we're talking. Can I build? I can build now, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let me get 2 of those. Okay. So yeah. So with that case, like, yeah, I wish they didn't. Oh shoot. It's going. Bastards. See? This is why we check on these things, man. This is exactly why we check on these things. Hold on. He's getting no coal. Wait, how did they get? Oh, that's why. Perfect. So now I gotta sit here and I gotta do cleanup. Let me think about this. Give me a moment. All right. What is? Oh, that's right. I don't even need this anymore. Yeah. This is not even a thing anymore. Cause. Right. Actually, wait. This is actually supposed to work. This is actually supposed to go this way. Okay. Hold on. Okay. And now let's go like this. Go like that. And then I just need to take all of this stuff off of there. One day I'll get my life together. Can I? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, cool. We got our silicon producing, and yeah, so we should be good now, because any minute, and once this is almost dead. Once the steam starts getting producing, we'll have electricity, and then we'll be in the clear for this guy's over here. So okay, I'm gonna head to bed. All right, brother, you go ahead and you head on to bed. We're wrapping up over here. I'm just gonna rebuild like some of these things that were destroyed real quick. That'll take like maybe 7 more minutes. Yeah, and then I'm gonna actually wrap up because we already finished our thing. Like I said, when you do look back at the stream earlier for the AI debate, and tell me what you think about that. Like I said, it was a rough one. Like I said, it was the very first one. I'm not particularly good at doing well, it's not that I'm not good at doing debates. It's just that when you're having a conversation with AI, you have to speak to it a certain way. You have to be clear and you have to be quick. And that's a thing that's like really difficult to do. And I'm trying to learn to do it while also like trying to multitask too, to build my brain out. So yeah, that's that. Love you, brother. Hope life is treating you and your wife well. Can you cut it down? The debate? Yeah, actually what I will do is, yeah, I'll produce I will actually produce a separate video for just the debate part. And like I'll do it in Twitch first before actually making the other video on YouTube, because YouTube it won't get posted no time soon. But yeah, I got you. So yeah, so just be on the lookout for it. I'll probably like work on that when I wake up later on today. So yeah, but all right, brother, you take it easy now, man. All right. And I'll catch you. Like I said, we're almost for sure we'll be streaming again tomorrow later today. So I guess I'll see you then. Oh well, actually I take that back. It's a religion day. It's Sunday. So right, it's Sunday, right? Today's Sunday. Yes, it is Sunday. So it is going to be religion day. So that one is not going to be like anything for most people to tune into, but. We will likely maybe stream like sometime during the week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, oh God, you just I'm not saying nothing. Not saying anything. I'm going to ignore. Oh my God, they Jesus Christ, I did not mean to let it do this. Bro, do you know how much of that I'm gonna have to like try and fix? Oh, there's no water going in here either. Jesus Christ. Yep, I'm just gonna ignore you now from this point forward. Don't not even gonna look. Not even going to look. Okay. All right. Let me get my life back together over here. Okay. Regenerate. Yep. We got electricity. Cool. We got electricity going now. While that's going. Okay. All right, cool. So let's just build now. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to. So this thing here, right? Because now I have to sit here and. Oh, cool. I can hold more than 30. I thought 30 was the limit. I guess not. Is it 50? It is 50. Hold on. Bro, it's gonna be so much freaking copper. I would sit there and put a disposable thing, but I don't just feel like building that right now. Especially while I'm trying to have it like build like some of the other stuff. See, we're almost okay, cool. See, it's almost cleared. And I gotta worry about like what's like in the router too. So I mean it is what it is for that. Like I said, is hopefully enough. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right. We got that. Let's yeah, let me build you so that you're taken care of there. That way I can see where. Yeah. Let me get you. Let's see how much is actually inside of. Cool. That's it. All right. We're all good there. How's our Steam doing? Wait, what happened? Why was there such a gap? Okay, it doesn't look like there is a. Okay, hold on. There's not much sand. Ah, would you look at that? Okay, hold on. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, why do I have this right here? Why not just like have it just pass through? It's sand, right? Yeah, and then I just route her right to both. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And then of course we're almost done. We almost got everything built back, and then we're gonna end the stream. So looks good. Or maybe we actually will, because we're not tired, because we just finished drinking a lot of coffee. We'll probably just end up what's the word I'm looking for? We'll probably just okay, so there's not a lot of sand really coming through over here. We'll probably just play the Dragon Ball game. I really want to play the Dragon Ball game. Yeah, I guess I'll just do one of these here and just have you go right here, right? Because I don't want you producing silicon so slowly. And then okay, let's see what we got. Right? Okay, cool. So what I really need is I am gonna actually terminate this real quick. All right, it's just barely producing enough electricity, which is fine, and I got the battery. So my intention is going to be to actually try to let some of this stuff kind of build up, and so that way I can get the ammo coming back here, because I really need the ammo to. I got enough ammo. There's enough ammo, and then even if it runs out of ammo, I got a lot of these guys over here that are actually not even being powered right now. Huh. I wonder, yeah, how I missed that. Let's get you. There we go. All right. Although I'm sure you're probably like, yeah, see, it's just barely touching, right? So there's enough battery power to keep it going. I need the ammo to definitely am going to need the ammo to start coming back through. So once this maxes out, get the ammo going, and then we'll get all the stuff going back together. So this is the Ministry game we're playing, you know. Let's see. Everything else is looking good. Everything else is looking good. There's no copper nowhere, right? I knew it, see? How did I know? How did I know there was going to be some copper somewhere? Oh yeah, I forgot I was sitting there also cleaning up me. Cool. Yeah, let's get all of that. It still got more building to do? What building? What more building does it? Oh, these guys. Yeah. Oh. Okay, cool. All right, now it's officially done building. Nice. Ooh, man, this already, oh, well, almost already like maxed out. All right. The thing is, it produces titanium so slowly. They're dead, right? Yes, they are. How much battery we got left? Yeah, see, we're at 91%. We're still good. Flying enemies should be coming through soon at some point, so we're gonna need to handle that at yeah. So see, so one of the nice things, see, the reason why I do that too is that as these things are maxing out, they're not using power anymore. So I know that it actually kind of slows down the power drain while I'm waiting for stuff like this right here. This one's maxed out. This one's not doing anymore. Okay, these ones good. All right, so now we're in a good shape. We can just go ahead now and let me go ahead and let her go. And then we can go ahead and get you back going, right? Oh wait, I don't have yeah, why do I not have the copper over here? Yeah, we're gonna need the copper. We're gonna need the copper. Okay. And yeah, we're almost done. And then let me actually now build the steam power generator. Yep, let's get the steam generator here. All right, and there we go. Now we got our electricity back. Everything's looking good. Everything is just about looking good. The only thing we just have to worry about is, well, first off, we gotta worry about coal. Hey, Robin, what's going on? You actually came, unfortunately though, you came at a time where we are approaching the end of our stream here. I'm just trying to like fix some things real fast and then we're good. But you missed it. We had we employed some new technology here, i.e. the what's it called? AI in regards to debates. We had our AI I don't know why I did this here. We had our AI debate us as if it was like the persona of like certain people after we did a test run, like debating Santa Claus, debating about, you know, the importance of Santa Claus. All rough stuff, you know, still like a work in progress, but it was all really cool, you know. Oh, well, too bad. Glad about your AI, you know. So it was cool stuff, you know. Wait, why is this not going nowhere? Of course. But yeah, I'm glad you're up and about. Anything cool going on? Anything cool you want to talk about while I'm here as I'm approaching the end? Let's see. Okay, so Steam's still going. Let's see. Okay, cool. So this hopefully will catch up soon. Oh, cool. I still got 30 seconds. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was kind of hedging over there, but all right. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So everything's looking good now. Everything is looking pretty good now. Yep, and then so we got our anti thingamabobs over here. Oh yeah, then we just need to, well, I mean, the lancers are there, but we do got to build more turrets and stuff for sure. For sure, we definitely need to build more turrets. So once the ammo is maxed out, then we'll go to that. Not really. I haven't found any new stuff. Yeah, like these last like 2-3 days have been a bit I don't want to say slow, but there hasn't been nothing too crazy going on. So yeah, it's just a slow day. I kind of have an idea of like now, especially since I got the AI thing going, like how I'm gonna go about doing it. Let me see if I can actually get it up and get it back up real quick to see. I think I hit like a technical limit that I was expecting. But we'll see. Let me see. Let me click back. Come on. Of course, and it closes. Hold on, I'm trying to get the AI back. Hey, ChatGPT, are you still good to continue with our previous discussion?
Yes, absolutely. What do you want to continue discussing?
Okay, let's continue discussing about the job market. You have to forgive me because enough time has passed where I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I know it was with regards to Trump and his job performance in terms of the jobs he was producing. So yeah, I'll let you start that off.
Got it. We were discussing how Trump's administration impacted the job market. During his term, he focused on policies like tax cuts and deregulation, which were aimed at boosting job growth. Some argue these led to a strong economy and low unemployment rates before the pandemic. However, opinions vary on how sustainable these effects were and how they shaped long-term job trends. What aspect are you most interested in exploring?
So, some information I had came across earlier about how if we looked at the past couple of presidencies, that the Democrats have actually produced significantly more jobs than Republicans. And so since we were talking about why people are supporting Trump versus any like Democratic nominee, and they usually use the economy as one of their particular points that they want to use, it just kind of baffles me that with actual hard evidence comes in mind with job performance that this is even even a thing.
That's an interesting observation. Job creation can indeed be a key point in presidential debates, but it's worth noting that economic performance is influenced by many factors beyond just the sitting president. For example, global events, technological advancements, and market cycles all play a role. Historically, job growth data can show different trends under different administrations. While some argue that Democrats have historically presided over more job growth, others might point to specific policies or economic conditions during Republican administrations that they believe contributed positively to the job market. In debates and political discussions, these nuances often get simplified. So it might be helpful to look at the broader context of economic conditions and policies when assessing job performance under different presidents. What do you think?
I want you to hold that thought. I just want to ask you a quick off-topic question regarding Sandy Hook. Can you explain to me what you know about the Sandy Hook incident?
Sure. The Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting occurred on December 14, 2012, in Newtown, Connecticut. A gunman named Adam Lanza entered the school and killed 20 children and 6 staff members before taking his own life. The incident was one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history and sparked a significant national conversation about gun control and school safety. It also led to various conspiracy theories, which have been widely debunked. The tragedy had a profound impact on the community and the country, leading to calls for policy changes and increased awareness about mental health.
So, with regards to the Sandy Hook thing, I'm just curious. Do you have any idea as to why the conspiracies and the idea that it's a hoax kind of held on as strong as they have, despite being debunked with whatever evidence is available?
Yes, the persistence of Sandy Hook hoax theories can be attributed to several factors. First, conspiracy theories often spread rapidly online. especially in echo chambers where misinformation can reinforce itself. Second, some people might be drawn to these theories because they offer a way to make sense of a tragic and incomprehensible event. Finally, distrust in institutions and media can lead individuals to question official narratives and seek alternative explanations, even when those explanations lack credible evidence. This combination of factors can keep such theories alive despite clear debunking.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'm going to now actually jump back to the Trump question regarding the job market performance. So I understand you mentioned earlier that we want to take a lot of these different factors in consideration, but I'm going to actually look at it from the perspective of like your average everyday American citizen who would be directly impacted by the decisions and policy making that such presidents would actually do in whatever environment it is that translates into real world either benefit or negative outcome for the American citizen. What can you tell me about Trump's decision making when it comes to promoting job growth that would make me want to actually vote for him, despite the record that shows me that under Trump, right, we had a net job loss during his presidency. Yeah.
That's a thoughtful approach. When evaluating Trump's decision-making for job growth from the perspective of an average American, there are a few key points to consider. 1. Tax cuts and deregulation. Trump implemented significant tax cuts and rolled back many regulations. Supporters argue that these policies helped stimulate business investment and job creation, particularly in sectors like manufacturing and energy. 2. Trade policies. His administration renegotiated trade deals like USMCA, which were aimed at benefiting American workers and industries. Some argue that these moves were intended to protect jobs and boost domestic production. 3. Economic priorities. Trump emphasized a pro-business environment, aiming to reduce unemployment and encourage companies to bring jobs back to the U.S. This focus was seen by his supporters as beneficial for economic growth and job creation. While it's true that his presidency saw a net job loss, largely due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, supporters might argue that his policies set the stage for economic recovery and job growth in a different context. Evaluating these factors can help understand why some voters might still support him despite mixed results.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's actually talk a little bit further in detail then about his tax cuts then. So I'm sure you're familiar with the tax cuts, the major one that he passed. Now, is it my correct understanding that the benefits that he presented in his tax cuts, that for the average American citizen, they're set to expire in 2025, while for businesses, they get to keep the whatever benefits that they receive from the tax cuts? Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which was a major tax overhaul during Trump's presidency, included provisions that impact individuals and business differently. The tax cuts for businesses, including lower corporate tax rates, are permanent. However, many of the individual tax cuts, like those for personal income tax rates and the increased standard deduction, are set to expire after 2025 unless Congress extends them. This temporary nature for individuals contrasts with the more permanent benefits for businesses, which has been a point of debate and discussion.
Isn't that an issue though? Because like if the tax cuts were meant to like stimulate the economy, and they provided such like good benefits for the American citizen, wouldn't the American citizen want to be concerned at the fact that, for businesses that have a choice on transferring those benefits down through the economy to them, that they also have a choice of actually withholding those benefits and actually just profiting from it, whereas the American citizen doesn't have a choice in having their benefits rescinded from them, so they'll be worse off when it comes to filing the taxes or paying higher taxes once the those benefits expire.
Yes, that's a valid concern. If the individual tax cuts expire while corporate tax cuts remain permanent, it could create an imbalance. For individuals, this means that any short-term benefits from tax cuts might be reversed in the future, potentially leading to higher taxes if the cuts are not extended. On the other hand, businesses benefit from permanent tax reductions, which could influence their decisions on investment and hiring. If those benefits are not fully passed down to workers or consumers, it could contribute to economic inequality. This disparity might be a significant issue for voters who are concerned about long-term economic stability and fairness.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I just have one another random question that I wanted to ask. Do you know who was ultimately responsible for 9/11?
The 9/11 attacks were carried out by the extremist group Al-Qaeda. The mastermind behind the attacks was Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda at the time. The group planned and executed the hijacking of 4 planes, which led to the attacks on the World Trade Center in New York City and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., with one plane crashing in Pennsylvania. The attacks were widely condemned and led to significant changes in U.S. domestic and foreign policy.
Okay, thank you. One more random question before we get back to the political discussion, and that's to do with income taxes. Can you tell me if income taxes are constitutional?
Yes, income taxes are constitutional in the United States. The 16th Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1913, grants Congress the power to levy and collect taxes on income. This amendment specifically allowed for federal income taxes without apportioning them among the states, which was a significant shift from earlier tax rules.
Okay, I'm actually going to now kill it in 3 hours. Okay, so I did hit my limit, and that's why I cut off the first time. Okay, but it still does really good with even with the fake one. You hate this robot. Well, I mean, what's for color, right? Remember, it's all about the facts. When we looked at the income, tax stuff, albeit like, it's unfortunate that certain laws and provisions are written as broad as they are, but they're still valid. So regarding that income tax, poor Wesley Snipes, man, he got caught up in that conspiracy, and the IRS gave him the business. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to now go ahead and save this and wrap it up. But yeah, see, that's what we were doing earlier today. So it was pretty fun, especially with the test debate on Santa Claus. So yeah, we have something now new to look forward to as a new thing that we'll mess around with later on. Yeah. Well, that's that for us. I'm gonna go ahead and let me save this now. Man, I'm kind of tired, but not really. Like, I'm tired, but I have like a lot of coffee running through my veins here. I love this new feature though. Yeah, I know, it's really cool, right? And the thing is, I don't know if you notice how I have it structured, because I was talking to my other guy earlier about it, but so OpenAI, I think is the name of the company, right? I just had this discussion. I don't know why, I just don't remember. But like, OpenAI did a phenomenal job locking this system down. Like, they will not allow you to run this on the computer in any way, shape, or fashion. No emulator, no development environment, nothing will get it to work. So I had to get a little creative and actually do a bunch of things, which I'll spare you the nitty gritty on it, because I talked about it before. But I ultimately was able to get it funneled into my Discord, which, as you can kind of see, because you're looking at my horizontal stream, because I have a horizontal and I have a vertical stream. Well, my vertical stream is only available on YouTube, but on a horizontal, you see like the 2 profiles at the top left, which is the one that's green right now, which is my actual profile talking. And then when ChatGPT was talking, you see the other one that then lights up green, right? Because that's supposed to be the AI that's actually, doing the discussion. All cool stuff. I'm sorry, I just get like real geeky. Like, when I sit there and I get to see the fruits of my hard work, determination, and creative thinking on getting this stuff to work. But yeah, it was awesome. It is it's really cool. Let's see. You hooked it up well, and it lies though. Well, I mean, it relies on the It relies on all the factual information and whatnot that is available to us. So conspiracy theories, you know what would have been. I don't know if like the thing that we was looking at yesterday, if that would have been good to talk about it, because I'm pretty sure it would have like came to the same conclusion that I did about it if we first asked it about the Project MK Ultra and then try to ask it about the other lady's thing. And then the nice thing too is that with its large data set too, it might be able to pull up information that we haven't come across, which is what I'm especially excited for once I start really diving into AI, because I'll be able to ask AI what a conspiracy is. Well, I already turned it off, so won't be able to ask it today, but next time we can play with it a little bit more on conspiracies and things like that. That's what I'm waiting for. What a conspiracy. Well, it just went through it dabbled a little bit on the conspiracy thing about like the when it was talking about the Sandy Hook thing. So I'm sure it gives some good information. But yeah, like it being able to actually pull up information that we didn't come across, and if I can work with it to give us the sources, like if it does give us something a little bit interesting, that'll be really cool. So that's what I'm just waiting for. So I guess I would agree with you in that regard, that would be something definitely to wait for that. But yeah, that was all good. It was all good stuff. I don't know if I have anything else in particular to do here. Let's see. Everything else was looking good on my end. And yeah, I like it though. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Let me take this off. Yeah, it's really cool. And it was really fun to play with. And like I said, I'm definitely incorporating it into our streams. I could tell you at a minimum what I'll be doing is because I still have my religion streams when we're looking at the religion tech stuff on Thursdays and Sundays. So obviously the stream later on today is going to be the religious stuff, so we won't be doing much there. But I'm thinking Friday would be like the politics stuff, gathering, whatever it is we're going to like look at and whatnot. And then I'm thinking Saturday we can then bring in the AI to actually discuss about any of the stuff that we actually we're going through, or maybe host whatever other type of debate we want to sit there and we want to do. But yeah, just some things that I have in mind and like what I'm planning on doing. I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of ideas in my mind. My only limitation is me being poor, right? Because I can't afford the systems and things that I really want in order to really, really design the cool things I do. So I work with what I got, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. So if I start arguing with AI, I've lost it. Well, I mean, you better get used to you better start getting used to it, because it'll be coming up soon, because you see how like it's articulating stuff now. Like once they fine tune it to where it can act more human like, and then you just won't know. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, because I'm about to sit there and tell you something that actually has already happened. Didn't Google, wasn't there was like a presentation, didn't Google do a presentation many years ago where like they did this thing where like the AI, where like they had an AI, and this was years ago, this was before ChatGPT and all that, where they were they had it like I think calling a restaurant and something, and then like it was actually holding a conversation, and like the person, even though it was more than likely staged, but like the person was just completely conversing with it as if it was a normal human being, and it was acting almost exactly like a human being with like the and the other gestures and stuff that humans usually do, or the the certain like key speech things. That stuff's gonna start coming soon. If I'm not mistaken, I think in the sex industry, like they're already doing that with like certain like sex chats. What was that one girl that's she like trained an AI so that like she can like the AI can be the girlfriends for like a bunch of people over the phone or whatever, or like texting, like it's like some kind of texting where they text her and then she can be their boyfriends or girlfriends, I'm sorry, and like it's all AI, so the AI is doing all of the responses and everything like that. It's I mean, the stuff's already in play, so it is what it is. AI is great because it allows no truth to be exposed. I don't know, right? Because like you still you can still ask it where it's getting its sources and data from. So like obviously if it can't provide it, then we know it, and we can more or less kind of stipulate that it's lying, just like a regular person, right? But one of the nice things too is that if it's if there's like some information or things to consider for our particular point that we're not aware of, right, then it'll help us find that information, and then hopefully if the citation stuff works, we'll be able to then actually validate that source and be able to grab it, which would be really really cool. So I don't know about it preventing truth from to allow no truth to be exposed, because I think I think we'll be able to like really get it to really clamp down on validating like certain things being made once it gets good, right? Obviously it's not anywhere in that realm yet, but it's getting there slowly but surely. It's getting there. Let me kind of close this. Oh, I'll leave that open, but yeah, and let me come back over here, and yeah, so that's about that. I'm going to go ahead and go to bed now, but I'm secretly going to like play a game for like 30 minutes until I get sleepy, and then I'm gonna go to bed. But yeah, no, this was fun. I hope so. It seems like a CNN voice box. I can just as easily turn it into a Fox voice box too. Like I said, like earlier before you hopped on, it was debating with me on Trump as if it was like Tim Pool in the PBD podcast, and it was presenting me arguments way better. And well, I can't say let me rescind that back about the way better thing, because I do know enough of the PBD side. I don't know too much on the Tim Pool side, so I can't like fairly say that it was making arguments better than Tim Pool. But I will say that the arguments was presenting me while impersonating their side of like the arguments. It was doing a phenomenal job at like pushing or arguing with it. So the AI can easily fit whatever side you want it to fit, and you can converse with it from there. That's what I really like about it, and we'll explore that a little further as we develop our own selves better, right? Because there's still a lot for us to learn and to get good at, and debating with an AI is a very challenging thing, because you need to be able to have a conversation and have it in a certain way to make it easy for the AI to understand, right? And you have to be quick with it too, because like people that go back through the video see that there was times where like I took too long, or maybe I was either rambling too long, or I paused too long trying to collect my thoughts, that it just would then like immediately cut me off before I even finished my point. So it's there's some challenges and stuff that we got to go through, but outside of that though, it's overall it's a really, really awesome thing that I'm happy to finally be exploring. So with that being said though, Robin, I love you, fam, and everybody else that was stopping by, because I was keeping track of everybody on Kick and Twitch, because I saw some people stopping through. I appreciate all of you. Like I said, we have two systems now for stability purposes. So like when one starts acting crazy, we can just hop on over to the other one. I like the feature though. Love you, brother. Till next time. Yep. Yeah. I love you all. Like I said, our next stream is Religion Day. So I probably don't want to tune into that one unless like you're just interested in and me listening to the Dead Sea Scrolls, because that's what we want to learn next before we start reading the Quran. But after that though, then the next stream will be obviously where our bread and butter of politics, or our desires of politics, right? So yeah, it was fun. I appreciate everybody that was stopping by, and hopefully I can do maybe like a little bit of fine tuning to figure out why my laptop's doing amazing, and I appreciate it. But we got to try and get it a little bit more stabilized, because it shouldn't be the case that I switch scenes and go to be right back to the main, and then it just craps out on us like it did earlier. Okay, so we still got a little bit more tweaking to do. On the desktop computer, we don't have an issue because we obviously have sufficient power, but I'm trying to squeeze everything I can out of the laptop before it gets emotions, before AI gives it emotions and like it hates me. So with that being said, you guys take it easy, and I'll see ya next time. All right. So y'all take care.
Will Almighty ever stop being trash? Can he ever not be sorry? Find out next time on Almighty's Stream.